exploration through the halls of Castle Ravenloft, you encountered, first and foremost, the undead horde that had followed you here all the way from the fortified village of Valaki. Through some tactical planning and retreating, you all managed to slay the horde without expending any useful assets other than a few charges from a wand of web. And you all continue to explore, trying to find a way outside so that you can finish the culmination here. Face Strahd von Zarovich, where he was located, seemingly just waiting outside for you all to catch up. When you finally did, the battle that ensued was a brutal one. Members being knocked unconscious and revived, spells being cast over and over again, all the while Strahd sailing about the sky on his flaming horse Bucephalus. In the middle of this fight, Arena Kolyana, whom had been turned into a vampire, was slain with no real difficulty, as you all at this point have become basically old hat at killing vampiric spawn. As the battle waned on and on and on, Strahd was forced to engage after you slew his horse Bucephalus, falling to the ground and fighting you all personally. The encounter for this was back and forth as Strahd continued to dart in and out of the sunlight beams you were emitting, avoiding most of their harmful effects, though it was still making it difficult on him to fight you, luring you all off towards the side as Balin chased after him. And Balin, as you all have not seen what happened to him, is at the moment lost. Only Balin knows what happens to Balin. The fight has continued. Blinkshaw was knocked unconscious, and as Strahd attempted to steal the holy symbol of Ravenkind, Gurgle decided he was going to be like, well, I'm just going to snatch that shit up right from underneath you. And in the attempted slaughter of Gurgle, the light seemed to start to overwhelm Strahd, and in his attempt to flee, the light finally proved his undoing, as a well-placed crossbow bolt, an arrow, finally pierced through him, and he just seemed to not be able to take any more, evaporating into dust, and leaving nothing but the clothes on his back and the sword by his side. Though you didn't have much time to celebrate, as mere moments after this happened, you all heard the voice of Rahadin, Strahd's manservant, appeared and screaming in anger. And as we left off, the situation now is I need everyone, except for Balin, you do not need to roll me initiative, as you are not involved in this, to roll me initiative. I need to bring up Curly's character sheet so I can do it for her. Curly, I checked your character sheet before we started. You have one first level spell slot left, and that is it.
On my screen I rolled a 20, but I got 12. I'm a little annoyed with that.
On your screen, you rolled a 20, but you didn't select your character token, so you got a nothing.
I think it was updated so we don't have to.
You know, it's creepy when Chris starts sounding more like Lake every day.
That's a Gurgle 12, by the way. You're not on the initiative track.
Yeah, you're not on the initiative tracker.
Yeah.
Fuck, you're right.
Yeah, he is. He's
I
not,
don't know why.
I just added him to the initiative tracker. All of your tokens look the same now, so you looked at him and like, I see a blue token, that's me. Wait.
Yep.
That
Well,
was
I
not
did get
you.
20, so that's good for me.
Is there a way to make the color, the
Why
rings
did
around
you
them a
roll
little?
again? I had already. God damn it, Phil Dennis. I had already added you to the tracker. Why did you roll again?
I don't see my name on there, that's why. Or my token.
How do you not see your token? Wow, Rahadin crit failed his initiative. Good job, Rahadin. He's still
I
going
don't see him
before
on there
Blinkshaw.
either.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't worry.
Actually, he's still going before Tashra. Because his initiative modifier with the tiebreaker, because he gets it, is a .22. Surprise.
Damn.
All right. Phil Dennis, in this initiative order, as things are going, you are actually up first.
Yep, and I'm on the main map still. Not sure if everyone else is.
Oh, you guys are on the main map. Shit.
Yeah.
That is the mistake that I made. Motherfucker. All right. Everybody double check and remember your initiative.
20.
I mean, it's on the side
As
of the...
I continue to lament this fucking mosquito that keeps darting in and out of my vision in my...
I have
If
the
you
same
stop
problem.
breathing, it'll avoid you.
That's kind of true, but...
If your blood's not flowing, it won't come after you.
See,
Well,
everybody go
they're
ahead and,
attracted to
re-roll
your
measure.
carbon monoxide expulsions.
That's what they say about almost all insects at this point. That is not Rahadin's initiative. That is Toshra's initiative. I don't know why. Oh. Shit, I rolled it from the wrong sheet. You are plus 1.12. Okay. Actually, you had a 7.12. I think you had. However, in this instance, Rahadin does win in ties. And spiritual weapon is gone at this point because it's been more than a minute.
I rolled the same thing.
Wow.
Jeez.
Lord.
Get those crits out of the way early, Phil Dennis.
Right?
Don't use them in this fight that you may actually need to survive or anything.
Apparently.
Alrighty. So is that everybody? Phil Dennis, Blinkshot, Gurgle, Toshra, and everybody's reset their initiative. Good. Descending order again. Phil Dennis, you're up first.
All right. I have 2 questions before I start.
Okay.
Do I know how tall it is from here to the cliff?
You're looking down into the below.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll get to that point in a second then. The other question was, if I was next to Blinkshot, would he be able to see me due to line of sight?
All of you are up on top of the roof.
Oh, it was like a sloped roof thing?
No, all
Yeah.
of you are up on top of a flat roof.
Yeah, we climbed up here. Remember, my grappling hook is hanging down in a little
Okay.
circle on the right?
Yeah.
I can see you right now if I were conscious.
Yeah, it's just Blinkshaw's not conscious.
Alright, I'm just gonna do, I guess, the tried and true. And I'm gonna do the fireball. Right, Rahadin.
Okay.
Actually, change my mind. Acid arrow.
Okay, that's an attack roll.
Yes. It's gonna be level 3. That's the next slot I got going for it. Level 3. Where's my crit at? It's not there.
Well, it's not there. That is a miss.
Yeah. He still will take some acid damage in his next turn.
Yeah, he'll
for a
take
splash.
6 points of acid damage as it
Yeah.
still manages to splash him. He
And
kind
then
of
I'll-
raises his cloak and deflects most of it and just flicks it off of him as he stares at you, scimitar in hand.
And I'll just go over here and be like, how far is it? now,
As you look over the edge, you look down and you don't see the bottom. All you see is mist below you.
okay. I'm gonna go.
Easily
Prone.
hundreds of feet.
I'm gonna go prone.
You lay prone. Okay. Gurgle.
All right. Geez. All right. I'm going to fire. I guess we'll take a shot at this guy.
I did know that.
Okay, I can talk now, but the quality is going to be crap, and you might hear some car sounds.
Room.
It's fine.
All
You
right.
can hear fine.
That is your first hit.
All right.
The arrow embeds itself into him with no issue. He does not seem to be resistant to your non-magical damage.
I assume the second one hits him too.
It will. It will hit him again. 2 arrows lodge themselves into Rahadin, and that is not as much damage as he took. Let's fix that. And he looks briefly stunned, but still ready to fight.
I will then sneak. I guess we'll run over here and drop. Let's see, 5. I will drop down. I'll use the rope to climb down there, and then use a bonus action to hide.
What the hell? Oh, god damn it. They made updates to the system. I need to fix something right quick. So they made an update to Roll20, so all the maps are showing the wrong perspective. That's why all these were 10 feet. Everything should be 5 feet. Okay,
Oh.
so you don't have enough movement to start climbing down. You can get to the edge of the roof and start climbing down the rope, but it is too far for you to
Okay.
drop all the way down.
Okay. Then I will. I'll stop there.
Okay. Rahadin's turn. Rahadin will rush forward using all of the movement he has at his disposal. He will get to here, and then as he gets to there, the mists begin to swirl around him, and he will misty step, and he will teleport up on top of the building here.
Oh fuck.
As he gets to here, Tasha, you immediately begin to hear the horrible noises in your head, the scream of 1,000 dead souls screeching into your ears. And as you hear them, he turns your way, and he is going to make 3 attacks against you with his scimitar.
Bring it.
Holy crap.
His first one actually misses you, but as his second one curves through you, you are going to take 10 points of slashing damage, which will knock you unconscious.
Yay.
And then as he does this, he takes a brief moment to kind of look at you all. He looks down at Tasha. He spins the blade around and pierces it down into her unconscious body. Tasha, you are going to take 2 failed death saves.
No! Gurgle is visibly displeased.
Tasha, at the start of your turn, make a death saving throw.
Sure, make it.
Ooh.
Can't make it for
Anyone? Can anyone give her inspiration?
Funny.
She dies.
Oh,
Somebody has inspiration to burn.
A natural 1. What the fuck?
She already had 2. She already had 2 failed death saves. It didn't matter.
You okay driving, Curly?
Tuning in this week.
You okay driving?
I'm not driving. My mom's driving.
Oh.
Oh, good.
I wouldn't be playing if I was driving.
At least someone there can comfort you.
All right, so that is the end of Rahadin's turn, and that is the end of Tasha's turn. Blinkshaw, you are still unconscious, but I believe you're stable, correct?
Correct.
All right, so we move on to the next turn. Phil Dennis, it's back to you. You are currently laying prone on top of the roof, and you just saw Rahadin stab stab Tasha right in the middle of the chest.
Ouch.
Shit. I stand up, and I gotta do the acid arrow again, but I gotta do it next level higher.
You kept all of your spell slots through most of that fight, didn't you?
I did. But I don't want to use them.
Of all the people who could have actually been damaging Strahd at the range he was fighting, you were the one who were holding back.
I didn't have the range. He was just out of it. No, seriously. Alright.
Also, he's not affected by the sunlight, is he? He's not reacting to it?
He doesn't seem to be bothered by it in the slightest. Alright, that one will hit. Well, as far as you can tell, Rahadin is not a vampire.
Oh, I thought he was.
He is pale-skinned, dark-haired, but he does not seem to be bothered by the sunlight, and nor did he seem to be resistant to the non-magical weapon that Gurgle was using. All right, 2 shots. Your acid arrow splashes into him, this time catching him on the lower leg and beginning to sizzle and burn. And he just kind of tilts his head to the side. You are going to pay for killing Strahd. All of you are going to pay.
We'll see.
Are you standing up, Phil Dennis?
Yeah, I stood up to begin with.
Okay.
And
Gurgle.
I'm not gonna move, as I want to either die going down the ladder or die where I am.
Alright. I guess we just pound the damage in. I'm gonna shoot at him. Miss that. I'll shoot him again. 20?
That one will hit.
Right, 20.
Right. Another arrow hits him as a third crossbow bolt slams into his other shoulder. He kind of gets knocked back, and you can see him pause for just a briefest moment, like he is at this point bloody, but he is still strong.
I will use an action surge and fire at him again.
You didn't use your action surge throughout the entire Strahd fight?
No.
Wow, guys.
And I was upset that I didn't, actually. I was about to, remember, and then you said he went down, so I saved it.
All right.
All right. That's a miss.
That's a miss.
And that's also a miss.
It would hit Tasha, but fortunately she's laying dead on the ground, so it just kind of sails wide and nothing happens. Yeah, fortunately. You do not hit Tasha in the back. All right, as you continue to panic, fire off more crossbow shots. Your shots going more and more wide as you see him just kind of dodging side to side, extremely nimble. At which point it comes to Rahadin's turn again.
I will. I'm gonna jump down the side here.
Are you gonna jump down or actually go down the grappling hook?
Well, I'll use the rope to slide down. I don't want to take any fall damage here.
Hold on, I think they fixed something. Did they actually fix? I think they fixed reduced scale maps. Well, hot diggity. Now I see why the problem is happening. Okay, let me readjust his aura here because I don't want to be doing too much. All right, Rahadin walks across the roof, standing next to you, Phildennis, and kind of leering down at Gurgle. And as he gets close to you, Phildennis, you also begin to hear these screams in your mind. And almost dismissively, he moves to drop down. But before he does, I need both Gurgle and Phildennis to make me a... Double checking what it is. Wisdom saving throw.
It is against magic.
No.
I gotta throw as much as I can.
Did the loud voices wake me up?
No, but you're going to take you're going to fail a death save, and you now have to start making death saves again.
Am I reset on successes as well?
When you are stabilized, that also reset. Yes.
Okay.
All right, I don't have my dice out. I need to very quickly grab some.
So,
don't lose that dice.
Pretty sure I'm gonna go down anyway.
What doesn't happen to Phildennis and happens to Gurgle?
Yeah. How many hit points do you have, Gurgle? Or sorry, Phildennis?
I have
Because I think you're
4.
going to be unconscious regardless. Yeah, I think you're going to be unconscious regardless. Yes, Phildennis, you fall unconscious as he does. 22 points of psychic damage. You will take 11 of that, Phildennis, but you will fall unconscious.
Doesn't matter.
All right. After he does that, he kind of hops down off the roof. How far did he move? Let me double
Really
check
could have
this.
done it. Nope, went unconscious.
He moved 25, and he will drop down 5. He is going to make an acrobatics check to see if he falls prone. With a natural 19, he lands neatly, but he's still going to take that decent point of... He's going to take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as he lands next to you, Gurgle. Lifts up his scimitar, and he is going to attack you 3 times. His first one is going to hit. You are going to take 11 points of slashing. His second one is going to hit for 11 points of slashing.
I'm down.
All right. In this moment, as Rahadin cleaves into you twice, Gurgle falls unconscious, and with the last member of the group unconscious, we are going to cut away from the fight up top.
I want to try death saves. No. Okay.
We'll get to that. Don't worry. You guys are going to start making death saves. Actually, Gurgle, you're not going to make death saves because Rahadin kills you dead.
Nah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus
no,
Christ.
you are stabbed until you are dead because you killed Strahd. So as that happens, we are going to cut away from the scene up on top of the overlook of Castle Ravenloft. Balin, as you are currently sitting in a mist-filled place. All around you are spectral forms of figures coming and going. You've been here for a few minutes now, or a few hours, it's hard to tell. And you've been sitting here alone, staring as the fog gets ever denser and denser as you look out. But as you've been sitting here, in the past couple seconds, something has changed. The fog is still present, but the fog at the far distance seems almost like a wind is caught up and is slowly blowing farther and farther and farther away, until all that is left is an infinite expanse with fog that is close to the ground, but not ever present around you and in the sky. And as this happens, you hear a voice to the side of you say, "I don't know, but I think they may have succeeded." And that voice is answered by, "Do you think they actually killed Strahd?"
Without
First
even
voice.
turning. That's Rictavio and Esmeralda's voice, right?
It is.
You're fucking great at character voices. Without even turning towards them, Balin's just gonna kind of watch the fog dissipate and just sort of smile and just say, "They did. I'm sure they did."
For a brief second, they just kind of turned to look at you like they hadn't even realized you were there. But as they recognize you, he says, "I think you might be right." I think it may actually be over. I couldn't have imagined it. As you sit here, just a brief contemplation of what killing Strahd may have actually meant, more figures drift into and out of frame. The first of which is a young woman. You recognize her as Irina, though she no longer bears the sullen countenance of one who is previously a vampire. She looks healthier, if not justly, as she is also ethereal. It is difficult to believe that this is true. If Strahd is dead, then Barovia is free. I can hardly imagine it. She kind of gives a look to you, Balin, and with the knowing look, she just says, "In no hard feelings. I understand why you did what you did. If I were in your scenario, if it were Eastmark, I may have done the same."
Balin kind of shrugs at her and said, "For what it's worth, I did apologize for not having enough time to apologize."
She kind of nods her head briefly. I can understand that.
Yeah, Barovia's free. And honestly, that was something I told everybody I wanted when we started this. And when I said it the first time, it was mainly just to get Blinkshaw to come along. I wanted to be the big hero. But this time, I think I really mean it. I think it's worth being dead.
It is a great justice that has been done. And maybe with the... She kind of looks out towards the mist. Maybe this means that even the dead will find some rest finally. As you are sitting here having this conversation, another spectral form begins to figure and form and appear next to you, shortly followed by a second one, and you see what appears to be Tashra and Gurgle coming into being in your immediate vicinity.
Back here again?
Which one of you finished him off? Tashra, you got him, right? You definitely
No, I
got him.
pointed Gurgle. I pointed Gurgle.
Wait, where?
I pat him on the shoulder.
What? Where are we? What is this?
It's someplace you'll never see a spider ever again.
Oh,
You got the
am I
last shot.
dead?
You little green bastard. And Balin just kind of, despite being dead, rolls up and picks the little bastard up and shakes him. Good shooting, kid. And starts rubbing his head. Good fucking shooting.
It wasn't so bad. It's just really scary. And when I saw you guys falling down, I was like, we had to stop them.
Wait a minute. I look around. Phil Dennis and Blinkshaw lived? How is that fair?
Well,
He's clearly smirking when he says it, but...
Blinkshaw was sleeping, and Phil Dennis was Phil Dennis wasn't as threatening, I guess, is what we could say.
Ugh. They better get the Blisk sword off my corpse, or he's gonna come back to... He's gonna find a way to kill me again.
So Rahadin came back, and I think he killed us. He was really upset.
Actually, Gurgle, I don't think you knew his name. Out of character.
Oh, hadn't we met him before?
You have met him before.
We just
But we
didn't
didn't know his
scream his
name.
name.
That's
Oh,
fair.
that's right, we didn't.
You may not have known. You might
The dusk elf with his ears.
His main
Yeah,
servant.
the evil guy.
Rahadin? After all that, Rahadin undoes the frozen cloaks? Oh, I hope Blinkshaw comes back to life and kills him.
I will say at this point that since Esmeralda had spent copious time in the Tassel, if you do keep referring to him as just Strahd's manservant, she will say his name was Rahadin, if that makes it easier. And he was utterly devoted to Strahd. It was actually almost inspiring if it wasn't to such a terrible creature. That kind of dedication is rare, but I suppose certain individuals do inspire it.
Is he mind controlled as well?
No, Rahadin was an interesting case. Are you familiar with the Dusk Elves that had come here to Barovia? Or rather, the ones who were native here to Barovia?
No.
Well, the story goes a couple of 100 years back. I want to say 2 centuries, though my memory may be faulty on that one. If memory can even be faulty here. The Dusk Elves, one of them, Strahd was going to take her as his bride. But the Dusk Elves, fearing Strahd's evil, they stoned her to death when she returned to tell them of the news. And Rahadin, who had been adopted as almost a second son to King Barov, Strahd's father, took the news horribly, and Strahd, to punish them, slew every woman and child in their community to the person, so that they could never reproduce. The Dusk Elves that are left here are the only ones left alive. And Rahadin turned on his own people. That was his admiration of Strahd, and his belief that his adoption into that family was the best thing that had ever happened to him.
Well, it's a fitting punishment that he'll live the rest of his life knowing Daddy's dead.
Yeah, well, I'm not too keen that old Knife Ears killed us, but, Strahd's gone, so that's good news.
Yeah, so are we, but I guess it was a good way to go out.
Yeah, it was. I died with the tribe, and I'm okay with that.
At this point, as time ticks along, Blinkshaw, your eyes open up. You are currently laying on the lower level of the overlook. You have been dragged down from the upper level by someone. Your vision is blurry, your head aches like it's never ached before, but you kind of glimpse back and forth, and you see Ismark is standing over you, kneeling, and he has the icon of Ravenloft in his hand. And he just kind of says, I did not expect this to work. I did not expect you to be alive. You take a moment, you start to look around, you see Fuldenis is laying next to you. Next to him is Gurgle, next to him is Toshra. And you look over in the distance, and the utterly mangled body of Balin, who looks like he is twisted the wrong way, part of his body is smashed, one of his arms is missing, is laying next to all of you. And you can take a moment, you kind of turn around, and you do not see any sign of Rahadin.
Ismark? Is that you?
He kind of looks down at himself. Think so?
How are you here?
How
did you find everyone?
I rushed down Strahd, I remember that. And then I woke up in that hall. I didn't see any sign of Strahd. I don't know how long I was out, and I started to wander the castle looking for signs of it. I heard signs of fighting, but every time I searched for it, you were already gone, and I ended up in one of the higher towers. And inside that tower was... And at this point, you see that there is two other people standing here. Standing about 20 feet back with one of his arms under his cloak and the other crossed over his chest is Escher. Just kind of standing there idly. And standing behind him, in human form, is Kellen. Just kind of watching this with kind of terror. And you see that Ismark is actually kind of positioned Balin in a way where he is behind the wall, so that his body wouldn't be seen, but judging by the look on his face, he kind of has an understanding of what happened here.
Is anybody else breathing that I can see?
He kind of looks over. Toshra is not breathing, but she wasn't breathing very much before. Gurgle... Well, you look at Gurgle and you can see he has deep chest wounds. It looks like Rahadin must have stabbed him over a dozen times. it was a fit of rage that saw Gurgle. Gurgle was not treated kindly. You looking at Phil Dennis? Make a medicine check.
All right.
I rolled your death saves for you guys for the surprise, just so you know. You can notice the faintest breathing coming from him.
I walk over and cast a Cure Wounds on him at level 1.
All right. By the way, you are currently at 15 hit points.
Okay. And I will roll Cure Wounds in a moment. I'm having that same issue again, where everything is super slow. I'm going to close out this window as soon as I roll Cure Wounds.
What level are you casting it at? I'll roll it for you.
Just 1.
What's your modifier?
It is... Hey, they're 10.
There you go. I rolled a 10 as well, so that works out great.
Beautiful.
Oh wait, no, you have a lot, but my rolled a 6. It's fine. Just take your 10 hit points, Phil Dennis, as your eyes kind of flutter open and you too wake up. Sore, bruised, beaten, horrible headache, but at the very least, you seem to be alive.
Transmutation. What? Where am I? Who are you people?
You're
Wait,
still on the
I know
old
you.
block, Phil Dennis. It is okay. Do not worry. He kind of looks around. Dean is, well, and Esther just kind of says, "I pushed him off the cliff. He will not be coming back."
I like you a lot more than I did the last time I met you, Asher.
He flourishes a hand. You killed Strahd. I am freed from my bounds. I am free to be the no Lord of Barovia. But it is okay. I owe you more than one, so we will call it even.
We did promise that we'd try and help you with that.
It is done. Now, it is merely as simple as assuming the host of Castle Ravenloft. I do not imagine that the mists will come back with me in lordship, but I do like the idea of being Lord of Castle Ravenloft.
You gonna treat the people here well?
I will treat them better than Strahd treated them.
It's pretty easy. You gonna let them leave if they want to?
I can't stop them by myself, so I do not see why I would try.
And I hope you build a prosperous nation that people want to join.
I will settle just for being Lord. For now.
I hope it's prosperous.
Hmm.
I hope your lordship is prosperous both to you and the people.
At this point, Ismark kind of looks back down at you, Blinkshaw. Actually, he's kind of like standing farther back now that you and Phil Dennis are kind of sitting up. I cannot believe that you all actually managed to kill Strahd, but what of Arena? I have not seen any sign of her.
Arena, wouldn't she have been there? Or did she...
She was turned to dust, and as you look around, there is no sign of her, even in her clothes.
Gotcha.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. I eluded Arena, didn't I? I did.
You did, but you didn't really find anything on her, I don't think.
Her wedding ring.
Oh, you did find her
That's
wedding
how I
ring.
went. Yeah. I just reached into my pocket and handed out.
You hand this wedding ring over to him, and he just kind of takes it for a brief second and looks at it. It's a fine wedding ring. It's platinum with beautiful emeralds set in it. Must be worth easily over 1,000 gold pieces. But as he sits there looking at it, this is what Strahd gave her.
It was what she was wearing.
He kind of wraps his hand around it, rears back, and chucks it as far as he can off the balcony.
Fuck.
I don't want anything that had to do with that man and my sister.
I honestly thought it belonged to her.
He shakes his head.
Yeah.
We were not that fat. We were not that rich. Only Strahd was that rich. But thank you, Phil Dennis. To know that at least she may be at rest, then that is some consolation. What are we going to do now? What are you going to do?
I need to try to bring these three back to life.
Do you have enough blankets, Blinkshaw?
I don't. I only have one that I know will work. Actually, did anyone see... You mentioned Strahd is extremely rich.
Asher just kind of nods his head. More than you can imagine.
I'm looking up the stinking spell.
It's 500 for Raise Dead, 300 for Revivify. It's a minute for Revivify, 10 days for Raise Dead.
Yeah, I don't think I have Raised Dead yet. Is the problem? It's level 5, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a 5th level spell.
We have a scroll, don't we?
We do.
One.
We have one scroll.
One's better
But I
than
do
none
also
at this
have
moment.
sending. Yeah, I do also have sending. And I'm going to tell... I'll tell Ismark. The last we saw you, you got struck down by Strahd when you charged him. We couldn't get through that blue veil to get to you. We got the symbol because Balin was able to use magic to grab it from your pocket and bring it back, but none of us could actually get to you. I'm so happy to see you here.
I was confused as well. I could manage to get across the barrier, but at the moment I just assumed it was because my will was strong enough. And then Strahd cut me down, and I'm not quite sure how even I'm alive.
Let's see if we can find some big diamonds in this castle. And there's somebody I want to reach out to see if they'll help us with. We have one favor with them left, but boy, I hope that they'll stretch that one favor.
Asher kind of looks you over at this point and says, I know where I can find something like that.
That would be amazing.
To be honest, you did kill Strahd. I feel like I may owe you more than just this, even if I do say we are even. And he kind of gives you a bit of a coy smile, which, from a vampire whose fangs you can see, is probably not the most comfortable thing you've seen all day.
It's like, grin, yay.
I'm happy.
Right. By this point, Kellen has kind of wandered over to Tashra's dead body, and he's just kind of kneeling down, sitting next to her. He's not crying. His eyes just seem to be utterly dry, like he's in disbelief. And as you look at him, you see that in his hand is a tiny little spoon, or say a tiny spoon, but a tiny. Stop saying tiny. It's not tiny. A wooden spoon that is just kind of like he's kind of holding extra tight as he looks down at her.
I'm proud of you for keeping hold of that, Kellen. We promised we'd come for you. I'm sorry it took us so long.
I'm sorry that I forgot. Sorry that I forgot. He just kind of shakes his head. I shouldn't have let Strahd control me like that.
There was nothing you could do. There was nothing that many of us could do. It happened to Balin as well.
He just kind of goes silent. And then you see him kind of take the little spoon, and he kind of opens like one of Tasha's side pockets and just kind of slides it down into the pocket and curves it over.
Kellen, I get the feeling that Tasha would want you to hold on to that until you can give it back to her. And she can actually receive it from you.
He just, as you say that, he just kind of looks at it for a long second and says, but she's dead.
For now. That won't last.
As the scene continues, and you all kind of pick yourselves up, above you, this early morning, you see that the sky that is mostly full of mist, or empty of mist, begins to gather thick clouds above. Through the chilly morning mist, the land of Barovia is visible far below. There is peacefulness here. Rest has come to the valley for the first time anyone can remember. But as you're sitting here, a light flashes just behind you, right on the edge of the overlook. Wheeling around, you see a stately man, a being of flesh and blood, in shining armor and a flapping cape. Armor that you are currently wearing, Blinkshaw. His countenance shows great strength of will, yet the forcefulness of his presence is tempered by his calm, sad eyes. His features are those of Strahd, yet subtly different. Looking at him, you see his features are that of the statue that was in Sergei's tomb, not of the corpse that was found in his coffin. He steps forward for a brief moment and, looking you all over, says, "My name is Sergei Vonzarovich. Thank you for what you have done here. Thank you for freeing my brother from his torment."
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was happening like with Balin and everyone else, but this is like actually in person.
Yes, this is happening with you. He is in front of you all.
Oh my! I just look super embarrassed because I have his armor on.
As you say that, he just kind of pulls up a hand. "I understand what you did, and it served you well. I am just sorry what it may have cost you in the process." It is at this point that he kind of turns and looks over at Balin's body. "My brother saw so much of me in him. So much that it warped this world to his purview. So much that he could not see me as anything more than him at this point. It's a shame that he had to suffer for it." At which point, the glowing figure kind of walks over towards Balin's body, reaches down and unhooks the sun sword that had been rehooked to his belt, and just kind of lifts it up. As it does, you see the blade start to slowly extend out. And he says, "This was mine once, you know. Though in my time it was the crystal blade. Strahd sought to destroy it when I was killed, to erase its memory. But he could never truly destroy, only hide it." As he does that, he kind of holds the blade up towards the sky, and you see the light of the sun sword begin to diffuse, burning and boiling and bubbling out. And as it does, the light of Barovia begins to increase. He trapped the sun away inside of this blade. It was all he could do to keep it from destroying him. But look where he is now. After a few moments, the hilt just seems to fizzle. The blade disappears, and he just kind of sets the blade of it very gently down back on Balin's body. "I'm afraid it may not be what it was before, but at the very least it is going to bring light to this place properly from now on." By the way, Escher, as he's watching this, is gone.
Yeah, I was like, where the fuck did Escher go? I was about to say, like, hey, you better run, Escher.
Yeah. You turn around and you see that Escher is already like, you see him like darting up the wall and jumping back into the chapel.
But before you even said that, in my head, I'm picturing this scene, and as the light is going into the sky, I was picturing Escher just taking slow backward steps, like, and a one, and a two, and a fucking gone.
Fucking gone.
This is gonna suck. I pictured that before you even said it. That's awesome.
I actually am rooting for him to make it safely too.
Yeah. After this, he just kind of steps back over to you, Blinkshaw, and says, "Thank you for everything you've done. And I hope that everything works out for you in the end."
Thank you. We have clearly our friends are currently dead. We have one scroll to raise them and one favor to ask. Do you know if there's any place in the castle that might have another scroll to help us, or or someone else that we could ask a favor of?
I'm afraid that I have been dead for 400 years. My knowledge of what has happened here is limited to what little I knew after I originally died. But I trust that you will find it. You all are not so weak that you would give up so easily.
No.
And as he says that, he begins to fade away into the light as well.
Thank you for returning light to Barovia.
Yeah. As you look around, the mist that was once here, none of it is left. Sunlight is beaming down. It is a bright, almost beautiful day, if not for how chilly it is still. But there is no mist to be seen. Ismar kind of looks around. Well, I think we need to get everyone somewhere they can be healed, don't we?
Yeah. By
guys, I'm really hitting the limit of what, like, Russian and Ukrainian and Transylvanian accents I can do. I can only do so many different variations of that voice.
I am going 1d10. What?
I don't know what Balin's talking about right now.
I was talking to Ian in Whisper, and I fucked it up. Don't worry about it.
Plus 37. The fuck? That seems wrong. Anyways.
Going to cast Sending.
Okay.
And I'm going to send a message, because that's any distance, right?
So as long as you're on the same plane, it's fine. There's a small chance if they're on a different plane that it will fail, but as long as you're on the same plane, it's fine.
I'm going to use my last 3rd level spell slot. Cast Sending to the
A.
What was that?
It begins with an A.
Like, hung out with Costello.
E.
He ran the Abbey.
That's right. That's right. The monk. And
You're the other old guy. You're the other old guy. How did you miss the Costello reference?
oh no, I got it all.
Okay.
To the abbot and ask him and tell. Oh boy, I only have 20 minutes. I will tell him Strahd is gone. The light has returned. 3 friends are dead. Will you help us?
All right. You send that message out, and you are aware that it reaches its destination, but you do not get a response.
Well, that
New
sucks.
phone, who dis?
Who dis?
I'm still gonna say I think we need to go to the Abbey. That's the only place that we know of where this can be resolved. Let's see if we can stop by Escher's with Escher, and he mentioned he has some things that might help. Let's see what they are. And we need to bring Tasha back, but I don't know if Raise Dead works on someone who didn't have a heartbeat. Do I know that? Would I know what?
Make a religion check.
I was like, can I check and see if I know what Tasha is? Like her condition?
I would allow either religion or arcana if you would like to do either one.
Good time to roll.
I would love for Phil Dennis to roll Arcana, or to roll Religion instead of Arcana.
I mean, I could.
I mean, he's better at religion than Blinkshaw is just because of how smart he is. So,
Oh yeah.
But Arcana is where I'm at.
Yeah.
he's gonna get a 29.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, see,
advantage.
I
And
knew
a
he
one.
was gonna roll super good.
Yeah.
And a
20
one.
to 1 every goddamn time.
I
Yeah,
wanna
expertise and
religion just for
advantage
fun,
or-
too. Just to see what happens.
You
Okay.
you
Of course.
Jesus
you
Christ.
know that you had your suspicions of what Tasha was. There are stories, and you have encountered revenants here in Barovia. Something about this land seems to just benefit them, seems to allow them to exist more easily. And looking at Tasha, everything about her reminded you of what you saw with those revenants. With your 2 rolls, there is something that you do know about revenants, Blinkshaw. creatures that are so driven by a desire, whatever it was, be it killing Strahd or protecting her friends from Strahd, when they do finally fulfill their purpose, when they do accomplish what their goal was that turned them into a revenant, nothing, not even a wish, nothing short of a god showing divine intervention can bring that individual back to life.
Just look at Blinkshaw. Do you have the same thought as I do?
Is Kellen still around?
Kellen is still there.
I say, yep. I think we need to get Balin back up right now so that he can help us convince the abbot to help with Tasha and Gurgle.
He is missing an arm. Just saying.
Oh, he's missing an arm. It's not
Yeah.
just broken.
Yeah, he is broken and mangled. Like, his head is turned the wrong way. His body is kind of twisted and cocked at an odd angle. And looking at him, one of his arms is actually just missing.
Oh.
Like, the fall hit him so hard that one of his arms just popped off. Which is a thing that can happen from very severe heights.
Mm-hmm. What we could
And,
do.
yeah. I know
Tasha
Raised
was
Dead
lucky.
doesn't
She
do
was
that.
intact.
Yeah, Raised Dead does not
Does not mend that.
put an arm back.
I will double check
Dragonborn are
Raised
made
Dead.
of tougher stuff.
Raised Dead. It closes mortal wounds, but it does not restore missing body parts.
So Gurgle's really the only one that I know that this would help.
Well, I can also like fabricate a stretcher or something. Because I have spells still.
Fabricate stretcher.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, we have a scroll of Raised Dead. We can use it on one person because we have one scroll. So who's that person going to be? And it was going to be Tasha, because that's who Blinkshaw would pick.
But
Next would
Tasha, obviously,
be-
cannot be revived.
Yep. Next would have been Balin, because he's been with Balin the
Yeah.
longest.
Sorry.
And
So-
then it would have been Gurgle.
I love in this moment where you have 3 dead party members. You're like, so in the order of people I would save, Gurgle, you're last.
Well, so here's the thing, though. His proposition to the abbot, if the abbot refuses everything else, with one, like, we have one favor, so I was hoping to get Gurgle with that, or Balin with that, or Tasha even would be amazing. But then he was going to try and sacrifice himself in exchange for one of his friends.
No deal.
That was the order that was going to happen.
Ooh, no.
Oh, you all know Blinkshaw would 100% do that.
I know, but
Especially-
Tasha would come back from the dead and not let you.
You would be a
No.
revenant
No, she wouldn't.
kicking Blinkshaw's butt in the afterlife.
I know. She would wait until you were dead, and then she would totally just like.
I can
I will
only
say-
imagine how your mom is responding to this, by the way.
She loves.
I will say the spell says if the soul is both willing and at liberty, and if we knew you were trying to sacrifice every one of us, we would just sit there obstinately and be like, nope, we're not going. You can be dead with us, but we're not coming back under these terms.
Dwight, is Charles anywhere, or did he just poof?
I'm trying to remember what happened to Charles.
He was on Gurgle last time.
If you call to him, his little head will poke up. It seems that in the midst of being destroyed by Rahadin, it didn't affect Charles.
Is he still bony?
It didn't
Hold on.
affect him. Like, not
Actually,
even
no.
like he's not traumatized.
Yeah, he kind of crawls out, and as you look at him crawling out, as he is exposed to the light, you see sinew and muscle begin to knit itself together on him, and after a few seconds, he's covered in fur. He is back to his orangey, ferrety self. And after a second, he kind of looks at himself, and you see him hop like 10 feet up in the air, and it's going to fall with a splat on the ground. He's like, I'm not a skeleton anymore!
Aw, he's so cute.
If only Gurgle was here. I think I'm a
He
necromancer.
chases his tail.
Gargoyle's corpse farts.
Oh,
I asked Eastmark if he can help us carry people into the castle, and let's find out what he has.
Kellen immediately starts trying to move Tasha, but Ismark's just like, we will handle this. Just keep an eye up.
I'll help Kellen so that he can, like, carry Tashra's arm and feel like
Yeah.
he's helping. You know,
He can carry Toshra's arm. Like, that's what he manages to do. So that will start. You begin to carry Toshra, holding her arm and taking her back. Ismark will pick up Balin because that is pretty much what he can carry, and that will leave Phil Dennis to carry Gurgle,
I
who
can try.
yeah, with your Gurgle, you can manage with some struggling Phil Dennis to drag Gurgle. He's small, so he is not nearly as heavy as one of the other two, and even with your strength, you kind of like you're kind of almost half dragging him by his cloak, but at the very least, you are managing to move him along.
Is there a burnt up? Well, not really burnt up. Is there a Strahd remains quotations? I know there's not there anymore, but the stuff's there.
The only thing left of Strahd was his cloak.
Yeah.
And his arm. Well, even his armor disappeared. All that was left of him was his clothes.
Hey, y'all, I'm home, so I'm going to switch over to my mom's laptop real quick.
Okay.
Be right back.
Okay.
Cool.
Should we check that out now, Blinkshaw, or later?
Sorry, what was that?
Should we check out the Strahd's cloak?
Yeah.
You want me to use like Mage Hand to like fiddle with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you kind of fiddle with it a bit. His cloak kind of shift around. His cloak is made of wolf's fur, but nothing about it seems to be ominous. The greatsword that he was using is still laying next to him as well.
Do we want that?
So I turn to the the crowd here and say, let's give Phil Dennis 10 minutes. We need to see what of these things can potentially cause us harm before we pick them up.
I mean, if you want me to identify what it is, I have to touch it.
Oh, I thought you were going to detect magic and...
Oh, I was
Can't you
wondering what
see,
you were
like-
thinking.
Can't you see what kind of, things it is?
Yeah. I mean, knowing what it did to you, I feel like I already know what it is.
Oh, knowing what it did to me. Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
But how much does the greatsword weigh?
A greatsword, I don't know off the top of my head. I want to say 6 pounds.
In Skyrim, it's 13.
Well, good thing this isn't Skyrim.
Well, the
A
mage hand can-
greatsword weighs... That is proficiency, not actual greatsword weight. A greatsword weighs 6 pounds.
I can have the mage hand just hold it, and we can keep going.
Okay. You can have it pick up this massive two-handed greatsword and start to carry it along with you.
It can
Can
hold 10
Charles-
pounds.
Can Charles touch it and you identify it that way?
If I cast it as like a spell, yeah, but not ritually, no.
Okay.
So are you heading into the castle, or are you...
Well, how was the grounds like? I asked Ismark, and I forgot the elf guy's name.
Say that again?
Ismark is there,
Mm-hmm.
and the elf guy, I can't remember his name.
Rahadin wasn't there. You didn't see
No,
any
he
sign
was-
of Rahadin.
He was...
No, Kellen. Kellen's the kid.
Oh, Kellen.
Became a werewolf.
Rahadin was tossed off the cliff by Escher.
No, I really don't know why I thought the elf dude that we escorted to the habit was there for some reason. Forget that. Ismark and Kellen, was there any monsters or something
Casimir.
in when you found us, like on the way here?
I mean, I have just been in the castle. I was wandering about. I found Escher and Kellen, and Escher told me what you all were doing. After the foundation began to shriek and shake, and we heard Escher screaming, Escher decided it was time to act. When we got down there, Escher and Rahadin got into a fight. Rahadin was already so weakened, it didn't seem very difficult for him to kill him. And then after he threw them off, Escher climbed down and retrieved Balin's body and his things. That is how I got back the icon. And he will hold the icon up, because obviously Balin had the icon last you saw.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't anything that got in our way, but do not know if that was because Escher was protecting us or just maybe there wasn't anything to get in the way anymore.
Okay. Let's go find Escher then.
Alright. As you all begin to circle around the castle, I didn't know it off the top of my head. I did a compendium search, but I was fairly certain it was 6 pounds. Actually, I guess I did know, but I double checked. Regardless, as you head back to the front lobby of the castle, you kind of start to open the front doors, and as you do, you see shadows sift around very quickly, and you hear, "Close the door. The sun is getting everywhere now. Making it very difficult to get around."
I'll close the door very quickly.
All right. You close the door behind you, and as you do, Escher begins to step slowly down the stairs. As he does, you see him kind of reach into his cloak, and he unfurls it, and he pulls out what appears to be a diamond, solid. And he just kind of turns it over. "I know that certain rituals could use these to bring people back from the dead, but I'm afraid that if there is any revival magic here, I do not know of it, but at the very least, this should help you. And it is a small price to pay."
Ow.
Thank you. And watch out for whatever it is you just hit.
The sword. No. The mage hand sword. No.
Do you plan on taking that with you?
I mean, we really don't really have... I mean, the rest of us actually don't even have any really use for it. I just don't want it to come to harm's... Like if it was cursed.
I can tell you that it's not cursed. It is called the Blade of the Night. It was Strahd's personal weapon. It was the great sword he took with him to war, and when he became a vampire, it became almost a part of him, but it was a magic weapon in its own right.
Well,
Sounds like something we could sell. Or is it
It
something...
is yours to keep. You are the one who slew Strahd. I make no claim towards it.
I was thinking more souvenir than sell.
I'm just trying to think of how...
Oh, unless we need the money, then yeah, for sure. For magical ink when we get back.
we have Tasha's family to support too.
That's true. Well, kind of. Not really. Did she tell you about her coming to Vandover?
I know she told.
Hey, sorry.
us-
It's alright.
No worries.
We're talking about you.
I know she told
I'm
us-
fairly certain she told the story twice, once to Full Dennis and then again to everybody else.
Okay, I remember hearing it. I just didn't remember if Blinkshaw heard it.
Hmm.
Yeah, Blinkshaw knows. Blinkshaw don't care.
Then I think it would be
Wait.
more for resting purposes.
We're talking about. Did you hear that part of the conversation, Tasha?
No, I had to leave and reconnect.
Yeah, I thought so. We're talking about selling the sword to send the money to your family.
And
And
I
then
was like, I don't know.
My
about
family?
that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're
What?
building this.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that family. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Phildinis reminded me that there was none. And then I said, Blinkshaw knows. Blinkshaw don't care. And I mean, hey, your family now is us, so we'll send it to us.
There we go.
No, she wanted you to send it to the Calliope.
I'm just being
Remember?
sarcastic.
Yeah.
You signed the
Okay.
contract, damn it. We're your family now.
Yeah.
As you were having this conversation, all of you can hear, except for maybe Full Dennis. I'll say, who is most perceptive in the group is still currently. You can't hear shit, Full Dennis. You're
What?
just. It's just the constant buzzing in your ears. It's old man ears.
Damn tendons.
You hear the clopping of horse hooves, and what here sounds like the wheels of a wagon coming up the drawbridge of Castle Ravenloft.
It's open.
It is open, yes.
Okay. I tell Escher, stand off to the side. I'm going to see who's coming.
Asher is already up the stairs.
He's like a
Just gonna
cat.
I make sure that Escher is out of the way of the sunlight before, and then I'll
He's
open
the
the
opposite
doors.
of a cat. Cats love the sun.
Well, I mean, like water and cat, I guess.
I lay down in the dark.
All right. As you open up the door, you see these statues of the red dragons, which have almost always taunted you with awakening as they do this. They do not animate this time. They merely sit still as you make your way through that door and the other door beyond. As you open the main door to Castle Ravenloft, you see a Vistani wagon is sitting there, but not one that was from the Vistani encampment. This is a different style. This reminds you of the ones that you saw at the Seer Pool. And as the individual who is sitting on top kind of hops down, he walks around, opens up the back door, and you see a crone's hand reach out and begin to gesture inside.
Is it a hand we recognize?
There's only one hand in this entire land that was that old.
That's what I thought. And it's one that gave us a fortune, right?
Yeah.
It was one that gave you a fortune.
This is a chrome hand. I was like, what the hell?
Crone hand. C-R-O-N-E.
Yeah.
I bring Tashra's body with me.
Okay. As you carry it around, you see that she is set up in the back of this wagon, almost like she was in the tent. She has a table set in front of her, though it is a little smaller. Her cards are not there, but you do see that there is a crystal ball that is just kind of sitting in the middle of it. And as you creep around, the slowest smile just kind of creeps across her face, and she says,
I knew you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I told you what I foresaw.
I am impressed. Don't tell Balin this.
Yeah.
After we bring him back from the dead.
I missed it. I miss Balin, like, being paranoid about divination and, like, seeing visions and everything. That was so great.
Don't tell Balin this after we bring him back from the dead, but you've made me a bit of a believer in divination.
It is Vistani blood that does it. True seers amongst them, yes. I have been gifted, but you have seen loss. You have done a good deed here. A very good deed indeed. I can finally leave this land knowing that there is nothing left for me here.
Where will you go?
I do not know. Wherever I feel like. I am very old.
I hope you hit every place on your bucket list.
There we go.
Sure.
What,
But
And she kind of just looks around, because obviously, I imagine you haven't dragged, like, you just checked, you didn't pull all the bodies out in front of her car. She just says,
so where are the dead?
Oh, I brought Tashra's body, I said.
you carry Tashra with you? Okay. As you carry Tashra out, and she just kind of looks down at her.
Yes, it is unfortunate that she will not see her destiny come to pass. Or at least the destiny that I saw for her.
Is there any way that we can help that happen?
She kind of shrugs her shoulders.
I do not know. I saw her on a vessel, sailors around her, a lover in her arms, but I cannot be sure if what I saw is the truth sometimes.
I turn to Fildenus and I say, well, you can sure make two of those happen. We'll figure out which two later.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I assume the ship.
That
part,
could be
at
very
least.
dark very quickly. Anyway.
I'm gonna vote no on that.
You're dead. You don't get a vote.
Aw.
Get you on a ship,
This is true.
and we need sailors because
Alright,
Blinkshawshire
your
sure
choice.
isn't one, and that's where we'll bury you at sea. But I mean, if you want to take it some other direction,
Moving on, anyway.
Where is
we'll bring
Balin?
Balin and Gurgle out.
Where is Gargle?
Upstairs.
I will relieve Fildenus.
Bring me the goblin first.
I think we
I'll
should
bring
bring
Gurgle over.
all of them down at that point. I'll go up there and assist with my non-stretcher I have made. Apparently did not do.
So you make your way back towards the inside. You can retrieve Gurgle, Balin, if you so desire, and carry them back out. At this point, Eastmark is just kind of standing off to the side, a little concerned, but he says nothing to interrupt Madame Ava. And as she kind of leers over the two of them, she kind of rubs her hands together, and then she holds one out towards you, Blinkshaw, and says,
The diamond, if you please.
I will hand it over.
All right. As you hand it over, she will just kind of squeeze it a little bit and then set it down on Gurgle's chest. And after she begins to utter these strange machinations, and the diamond begins to break into very tiny little particles, light glowing from them as they sink down into Gurgle's chest. As they begin to infuse her deeper and deeper, the wounds on his chest knitting. In the ethereal plane where all of you currently are, still having this conversation, you glance for 1 second and Gurgle is there, and in the next second, he is gone.
So, yeah, Balin, I really wanted those.
Balin will kind of
Your
look.
eyes vacant, you sit up, and you're not as sore as you could be. You actually feel okay. You have 1 hit point, and you feel kind of like you... God, what would be the best way to describe this to a goblin? You feel like you got on the wrong end of a bugbear who smacked you around for a while, but it's more of like a dull aching pain than an active one.
You feel like you just went through constitutional bankruptcy, but found a penny in your pocket. Or a copper.
So
Perfect.
at that moment where we're having, I put Curl, you might have missed this in chat, but in the ethereal realm, I posted
I've been watching it. Yeah.
Okay, like earlier, I put like he brings Gurgle over and just kind of like a 3-head huddle, like, all right, at least we're all dead together. And then like Gurgle disappears, and I'm like, I looked at Tashra, and I'm like, look, of all the bullshit we've been through, they picked him first.
That was good.
Oh, that's fantastic.
By the way, if no one's seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail, don't read chat, because Gurgle and I just quoted all of it while we were dead.
Oh yeah, I was.
So, Gurgle, you currently have 1 hit point, and you have a debuff. You have -4 to all attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. This is
resurrection
basically
sickness.
your yes. This is your resurrection sickness.
Ugh.
And because I'm a cruel and merciful DM who has penalties for things like this, your Constitution score has been permanently reduced by 1.
Ooh.
Coming back from the dead, you leave a little bit of yourself behind.
Cool.
Cool.
If this and keep in mind, if this adjusts your Constitution modifier, your hit points will go down as well.
All right, so that's 8. All right.
Hey, I'm a firm believer that there should be coming back from the dead should not be free just for a diamond.
I fully agree with that. I hadn't heard that rule in so long. I was like, what is this, 3-5? I want to be a paladin of tyranny.
Can you choose which attribute instead?
No, it's Constitution.
Even worse, like charisma, like massive.
No, it is Constitution. It reflects the fact that your body is losing the tether on the material plane. Every time you come back, a little more of you is lost.
I
But
just
yes.
wanted us to be even more bombing Constitution throws.
Yeah, wait till the next module where everything is Constitution or is charisma based.
Yeah, charisma. Thank you.
Yeah. At this point, Madaveva kind of looks over and says,
I do not have another diamond to bring back the other one. But if I am not mistaken, I do not think that you are in possession of that either.
No.
Wait, did I not die?
You are
I
dead.
had the
I
weirdest.
brought you back from the dead. You are fine.
Oh, wait. Do I owe you 300 gold now?
I have already been paid. You are fine.
Oh, fantastic.
You're welcome, girl. You'll
You paid for it? Oh, well, I gave you that book that you said was worth like 3 times as much, so just dock that from what you owe me.
Okay. 270 gold. No.
I mean, if we're doing goblin math, it's counted 2. It's like 2,000 gold, right?
You owe Blinkshaw nothing,
Oh.
and you owe Leo a shot in the back for when he frostbolts you in the back.
That's too
Leo.
much.
Oh.
His
Well, I mean,
accent-
I already put an arrow in the back of his head one time. It was an accident.
All even.
Yeah, I think we're all even then.
Madaveva just kind of looks around.
Well, I do have one more gift, but I'm afraid it is not something that I can do so long as Balin is dead.
Well, let's undead him.
Can we?
Wait, no.
Are you able to repair his bones? Because we do have a
It's possible.
scroll. And
We
someone
can-
left.
Yeah,
Keith
Balin
said
just
he got knocked out.
We do have a scroll to. Was it Raised Dead?
Yep,
Mhm.
we have a scroll to do the same thing that just happened to Gurgle.
We just want
But-
him coming back in aching pain and
We
scoliosis.
want him with 2 arms, if possible. I think he would want that too.
I'm okay if he has 1 arm.
This is not an issue for me.
Yeah.
I will hand her the scroll. and
You
say,
hand
"This
her
is
the
what we
scroll.
have." I will.
She kind
I
of
will show her
unfurls
the
it.
scroll.
So
Yeah.
if
Fine, I can
if
use
we
it.
bring Balin back without his arm, we can bring him to the abbot. Can't the abbot just
I so wanted to
put a
do
new-
that.
They don't.
I didn't remember if we had known that in this campaign or just saw them, but I so wanted to bring him back and get him an animal part.
Get like a crocodile tail as an arm.
Yes.
Okay, I think I'm back.
We're talking about what
I know what
animal
you're talking about. I just caught the last line, and I already know what you're talking about. Please just don't bring it up again.
So, as Madame Ava begins to unfurl the scroll of Raised Dead that she has before, we cut back away to the ethereal plane. All of you, Sans Gurgle, who are having your conversation before, are still waiting around, kind of contemplating what is going to happen next. But for a brief second, Toshra and Balin, you see the kind of ethereal light, the blue that covers everything, the grayness that covers everything, start to dim and fade away. As this happens, you notice that both Esmeralda and Rudolph kind of look over at you quizzically, like they don't quite know what is happening, but then it is like a sheet of black covers you. You've seen this before, Toshra. This is what you experienced the last time you died. It was kind of an unfamiliar feeling to you then, and there was something that you've encountered then. But as you look at it now, I would like for both of you to make me perception checks.
I gotta open my sheet. Hold on.
15.
Almost. Classic Balin.
You're still set to roll to me, by the way. You can remove that.
Okay, it was a crit fail, everybody.
I know. I saw what it was. So
Just letting everyone else
you don't
know.
see anything. Your goggles aren't working right now. I think they're actually around your neck in this place. Actually, you don't have them with you in this place. So
Yeah,
it's
they're
just
on this plane.
you. Toshra, you see what appears to be the utter faintest of a sliver of a thread that is running from the back of your hand. And as you follow its path, you see one that is heading attached to the back of Balin's that is also running back. And as you look up, you see that all of these threads, more of them kind of coalescing and coming together up into the sky. And behind them is a figure of immense size. Mixed in their being is what appears to be raven's feathers, intangible black mass, and masks. No mouths. The movement, the basic form of noses and slits where eyes should be, but there are multiple of them, almost a dozen in their being. And as you look up and you see these shadowy hands holding what almost looks like a puppeteering rack, this figure kind of looks over down at you, kind of twists her head to the side, reaches down, and plucks the string that was connecting you to the rack. As this happens, you feel kind of a pulling sensation, almost like you're being pulled up to her. But in that moment, you feel a hand reach out and take you by the wrist. As your eyes spin around, you see a grizzled, but almost looks like a Nordic warrior. His beard is long and tied in angles. You see lightning bolts on the side of his chest, and he just says, "It is time for you to come home."
Okay.
And he looks towards Balin for a brief second. "You did good, but there is still more for you to do." And they disappear.
So with my roll, did she start floating up in the air?
Yeah, for a brief second, you just kind of saw her shake, and then as Volker appeared just from behind you, you didn't really aware. You also see the figure. You just don't see the slivers of thread tying everything together.
Okay. I just feel like if she was being like raised up away, like Balin would have grabbed her by the ankles and like briefly played tug of war until he realized it was God and she was happy. But at the time, you're like, no, it's mine. And then they're like, oh. And he'd see the lightning bolts and he'd be like, I'm not going to argue with him.
At this point,
she seems okay.
The massive figure kind of starts to shrink down Balin, almost to an immense scale. Her hands kind of waver, and she takes on a humanoid form, and you realize that this does appear to be that of a female. All but one of the masks disappear, the one over her face, and you see a coat of feathers that runs down her frame. And she steps up to you and says, I knew that I would see you sooner than later, but you still did a good job.
Is that what I was supposed to do?
No. You are supposed to do something entirely different. And yet the fates that I weave tend to go astray when other powers come into play. But yours is a story that is very interesting.
I'd be careful with that. I've dabbled in reading fate myself, and I don't think I'm very good at it either.
Make me a religion check, Balin.
Okay. Religion.
Yes.
No, sorry.
You're going to roll high on this because it's not your primary skill.
Yeah, because it's my primary skill and it's relevant to plot and story and not surviving.
You recognize who this figure is, Balin.
That's the Raven Queen.
This is the Raven Queen.
I'm her priest in every other game I play.
Yeah. Known as, wow, this just got weird for you then. Known as the spinner of fate and the individual who represents normal passage of life into death. And as she looks at you, she just says, in a few moments, you're going to return to your friends. And your journey is going to continue. But there will come a time that I am going to need your help again. And until then, I expect you to stay safe. She kind of reaches a finger out and just kind of pokes you in the forehead. And as she does, you feel cold rush down the entirety of your body. And you wake up, sitting up in the middle of Madame Ava's cart. She's just finished reading the scroll. And you feel terrible. You know, your body is just kind of aching. Something feels like it's cut your arm. And you look down, and your arm is missing about 2 inches above the elbow. Your right arm.
So, as soon as Balin opens his eyes, Gurgle immediately sneezes into his face.
Why? Bless
He
you,
was
girl.
prepping for this.
Alright, Balin's like, he's not flinching. He's just looking down at his missing arm and what else happened to him.
I can
Balin.
build you one.
Yep.
Your Constitution modifier has decreased by, your score. Your Constitution score has decreased by 1.
Which drops my modifier as well.
Your
Oh, no, it doesn't.
Wisdom
Never mind.
score has been increased by 2.
Ooh.
And you have now the Blessing of the Raven Queen. The Blessing of the Raven Queen is very simple. You now have advantage on all death saving throws. If you are unconscious and you make all 3 of your death saving throws, once a long rest, you may choose to wake up, stand up, and regain half of your maximum hit points.
Wow.
You have
And
the
regain
Boon of
half.
the Raven Queen. Regain half of your maximum hit points.
So, if unconscious and win all 3 throws, once per long rest, you may choose to wake up from 0, stand up,
I
and
will
regain.
type it out for you. I'm just
Thank
giving you a base idea of what the ability
No,
is.
that's
I'll type it out
insanely
for you.
awesome.
Yes. And as you are waking up, you hear the barest hint of a whisper in the back of your mind. I will look after you, Olcott.
Yeah, so Balin's got gurgle sneeze on his face. He's staring at his missing arm, and he hears that no one else hears.
I'll use Mage Hand to get a hanky and wipe his face.
He just kind of bats you away like it doesn't matter. Just
Can you bat away?
Wait.
Balin like he shoves you over his left hand like he normally would, and he goes to wipe his face and can't because he uses his right arm and kind of is just really. Oh.
Wait. Gurgle, I'll use prestidigitation to clean his face.
As you were doing this, Madame Ava just kind of sitting there waiting patiently. She says,
So should I fix him now?
I was about to jump in and say, I thought the arm was no problem. Please,
Yes.
so she will begin to cast a spell, and the spell will take her about a minute.
While she's talking, this is the first time Balin's seen Madame Ava since that goddamn fortune telling. I feel like he has some things to say, unless you want to move on from this scene.
No, it's fine if you want to keep on talking.
He looks up and sees her for the first time.
Barovia. This is the time for that stuff.
He looks up and sees her, and he's like, "You couldn't have just spelled it out with your goddamn cards and the goddamn dreams and the big blue statues that I saw every day until they actually came true."
Balin.
What am I? I can't hurt anybody. I don't have an arm.
Balin.
You have one arm.
Let her focus. Let her focus while she's doing this one thing. Then.
Then.
Oh, it's nice to see you pricks too, by the way.
You're a lot. Where's Tasha? Are we bringing her back?
She's not
Do you
coming.
have any
back.
more of that juice? Wait, what?
I will give
Why
Balin
not?
a hug.
Like
Nothing
while
else.
being hugged, just kind of like. And this is more to Blink Shot, but everyone can hear it. She's not coming back. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to come back.
Blinkshaw says, "I know."
Well, we don't give her a choice. I'll get the 300 gold, and we'll just make it happen.
Balin kind of looks, trying to explain what he saw. Looks at Phil Dennis. No. Looks at Gurgle. Hell no. Looks at Blinkshaw and says, "If Helm said it was time for you to go home, would you come back?"
No, and I understand.
Yeah, make them understand. I've been through some shit.
At which point you feel a old withered hand reach out and kind of touch you on the back of your head, Balin. It's kind of an odd juxtaposition after what happened with the Raven Queen, and you feel your body begin to recover. As of right now, you can feel like almost like your body is repairing itself, and you feel the slightest little tingle in the end of your arm, where bits of it are beginning to, and you see like almost like the skin is beginning to expand downward very slowly.
And I can like watch it grow back slowly.
It is going very slowly. It'll take about 2 minutes, but after 2 minutes, your arm will be back.
When it fully forms again, he'll actually kind of sigh and be like, "I'm glad it's here, but for some reason I thought it would have copper scales. Or bronze scales." Oh well. He kind of sighs and turns.
I seriously considered just leaving you with one hand because I thought, that'd be really kick-ass for Balin to have one hand, like a hell of a story and something, but...
It would have been cool as shit.
I felt like that would have been cruel considering it's literally just something I use for flavor.
I thought that I was actually going to have one arm, and I was like, oh, I guess my entire build just went to wizard all the way. Because you can't be a one. I was like, okay, I'm no longer the rogue. I'm just going to get more and more wizard in me.
It'd still be cool.
But yeah. Yeah, no, it'd be a cool ass character. But yeah, he'll kind of look around and just be like. Then you said why? He's just like, maybe you guys didn't die all the way, but I don't know. Me and her had a lot of bullshit for a long time, and in the end, we were kind of on the same page.
Is she really not coming back?
He kind of looks at Gurgle. His expression actually looks crestfallen, like for the first time Balin's empathetic about something.
You do see like tears welling up in Gurgle's eyes as he's looking up at you.
Yeah, like he like honestly looks like he's because with my charisma roll, I don't think I can feel empathy. But he's just like, and just trying to put it into words.
At which point you hear the wispy voice of Kellen just say, "I know it.
I knew what?
I knew she wasn't coming back."
Kellen,
Kellen's here, by the way.
is his
Oh, hey, Kellen.
or does
No, Santa's coming back. I promise.
does he still have the spoon, or is it in Tasha's pocket?
Oh no, he did not take it back from Tasha. He seemed adamant that he knew he was never going to see her again.
I take it out of Tasha's pocket, and I tell him, Tasha believed in a lot of things, and I can't speak for her on most of those, but from what Balin tells me, her god came and...
Bleachell, that's not what I said.
You asked me what it would be like for Helm.
Right, but you didn't let me get the whole story out. And he's kind of going the wide eyes that adults do when they want to say something to a kid.
He just says, "I know what it's like now.
No.
I've been in this land long enough to know sometimes
Kellen.
bad things happen to people."
Kellen, do you ever see the sun come out in this land?
The sun's out now.
Yeah, it's sunny, isn't it?
No, I spent most of my time in the cave.
Well, let me tell you what I saw, because I was on the other side with Tashra, and Gurgle was there too. Sometimes it's going to storm, and sometimes it's going to rain really hard, and a lot of times it's going to crack lightning. And I'm telling you what I saw. I saw her become the lightning. So she's not gone. She's just not here the way you think she's here. Every time you hear a crack of lightning, that's Tashra. She's looking out for you. And she can be a lot of places at once now. But I know what I saw, and I'm too dumb to lie. She's up there right now, and the next time it storms, she's going to come say hi.
He looks like he's not quite sure if he believes you or not. But at the same time, he will kind of take the spoon as he's been handed it back to him, and he will just kind of hold it gently in his hands. And this is the first time, if you look at those, has anybody else ever realized that Tasha and Strahd are, God, what is that word? Where you rejumble the letters?
Oh, anagrams?
Really?
Yeah, an anagram.
No.
Whoa, it is.
I never actually realized it until you spelled it out like that, but yeah.
It was her the whole time. She was the devil.
Oh my god!
Yep.
I did not do that on purpose. I promise. I swear I did not do
She
that on
doesn't
purpose.
have a D though.
I swear.
Oh,
yeah, I
you're
don't
right.
have a
No, she doesn't have a D. My mistake.
It's
She has
Strahd.
two A's. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. No D.
Okay.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
It's close as hell, though.
I want my $5 back. That was too much. That was too much, and it's not true now, and my whole game is ruined.
No, that just further shows how far she is removed from Strahd. They are not one of the same.
She's 1D removed.
As Balin is giving that speech,
The
Bleakshaw
vitamin
kind
D.
of steps back behind Kellen a little bit, whispers a few things, and then when Balin finishes, the rumble of thunder goes off in the distance from thaumaturgy. Super cheesy, but it's happening.
She just kind of looks off, Kelly just kind of looks off for a brief moment. Are we going home now? Even if I don't remember where home is?
We can find it.
Right. Aren't you from
Oh.
Phandalin?
He shakes his head.
Oh. Well,
you asked a lot of the kids. None of them most of them did not remember where they were from. Some of them quoted different regions. Some said Waterdeep. Others said far-flung villages you'd never heard of. But Kellen specifically said that he did not remember where he was from.
oh, okay.
Potentially a side effect of becoming a full-fledged werewolf the feral instincts may have kind of influenced his young memory.
Or he's just 8 and doesn't remember anything.
That's also possible.
Is he still werewolf?
We'll find out where you go, and if you can't find out where home is, we can give you one.
Kind of nods.
So, if Strahd's dead now, this castle, it's probably got a lot of treasure in there, right?
He was rich.
So we're like entitled to that, right?
Mm.
Some of it. Some of it was just used for you, Gurgle.
You hear call from the door.
Yeah.
I did promise you that some things will be yours and that I did owe you. But if you think you will take everything in this castle... He kind of pauses for a moment. There's not much that I can do to stop you, but it will be unkind.
No. Not gonna take everything, but just like, I don't know, maybe as much as I can carry. Does that sound fair?
We'll just get the things where the sun's shining on them.
No. Dude.
I will have... Oh my god, I'm drawing a total blank on this guy's name. Not Escher. No. What was the name of the fucking accountant?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. It's in here.
You guys literally talked to him one time. I don't think you even asked his name, so I'm trying to double check.
Lev.
You did.
Yeah.
L-I-V.
Lev.
Lev.
He will say, I will have Liev bring down one of the treasure boxes. At the very least, it is what I can do for you. If you'd like to
Awesome
pick one
sauce.
specifically, I would let you pick. There are... And he kind of scratches his head. I think there are 4 of them. Do you want the first one, the second one, or the fourth one?
What about
Or the third one?
What?
You may take whichever one.
Balin
1, 2,
stops
3,
everybody and says, keep in mind, one of them is always a mimic.
We should ask
Well,
Blink
as the veteran lockpicker, you should probably check, right?
Nope. I've died once today. You're in charge, Gurgle.
If somebody else is bringing it down, then we'll know if it eats them.
That's true.
I was going to bring it down for you. They are not trapped.
And there's 4
I'm
of
aware
them.
that they are not trapped.
Should we flip?
Can we flip a coin? A 4-sided coin.
Yeah, why not?
I like
actually don't know.
I like the number 2, just in general.
Honestly, if we're being this silly about it, I will open which one you guys pick, if that's what you're scared
Well,
of.
he's just going to bring one down, whichever one you guys pick.
Phil Dennis
And
just
he
said
will tell
2, and none of
I
us
do
know.
not remember what what is inside of them, but I do know that they are all the same chest. It is not one of your genie and the trickery situations. It is just, you pick a chest and I will bring whatever it is down.
Phil Dennis just said 2, and none of us can say a number. So there we go.
Oh, you put that shit on me now.
Wait, is being dead a long rest?
No.
You
No.
you suggested
You are
a number,
currently
and
at
I said the
you
number.
are currently at
One
actually
hit
with the
point.
time that you've been sitting here, the 2 minutes have passed. Your arm has recovered, and you have regained 20 hit points from the regenerate spell that has been cast on you.
Jeebus.
Yeah, Madame Eva didn't phone it in. She actually cast regenerate on you to give you your arm back.
I'm still not mad. I'm still happy I yelled at her, but I'm less angry now.
I turned to Madame Eva and asked if there's anything else that we can do for her. And
You have done everything that you need to do. I am free to go where I would see fit now. Now, if you will step out of my cart, I will do that.
that I can serve.
So if anybody asks, you make sure you tell them that Gurgle Sharpeye took out Strahd von Zerovich, all right? with the help of the frozen cloaks.
God.
She just kind of looks at you for a
Wait.
brief second, Gurgle, and then she kind of reaches into a side drawer, takes out a single, what looks like an iron coin, and just flicks it at you.
I take it, bite it, and put it in my pocket.
Yeah, you bite it. It is sturdy. One side appears to have a star. The other side appears to have a skull.
It's perfect.
At which point the Vasani who was traveling with Madame Eva will close the doors, kind of lift up the ramp. He will give you a nod, and then he'll walk over, climb back on top of the carriage, and he will begin to whack it, and the carriage will begin to slowly pull off and turn off back towards the drawbridge. At which point, as you guys continue to sit here, Ismark and Kellen are still standing around. Kellen seems a little downtrodden, as you might imagine, but he's holding onto that spoon for dear life at this point. And Ismark is just kind of looking around like maybe he doesn't really belong in this situation anymore. Like maybe he wasn't responsible for this. But he also seems sad considering that his sister has also passed on. After the time period, the front door kind of, you hear a large tunk at it, and then she calls, "This is the one that I picked. Come and pick it."
Is it number 2?
Truthfully, it is just the first one I grabbed when I went into the room.
All right.
Oh, we wanted the second one. Can you bring
Thanks.
that one down?
Thanks for being honest.
Oh, God, I wish Gurgle was dead again.
I'm gonna tell you the truth, guys. I realized, like, the number didn't really matter to him, so I just rolled a d4 to determine which one he grabbed. And,
And there's no way we would know if he gave us the one we wanted or not. So just
Exactly.
just give us the loot.
That'll be
Give us the
something
loot
for
you
the
think we should
AMA,
have.
isn't it?
That's funny.
All right. So yeah, he says it is in here, but fucking light. I cannot come outside, so you'll have to come and get it yourself.
No problem. Just let us know when you're out so that we don't open the door on you.
You hear from farther back, "You're fine."
Oh man.
All right. You can open up the main doors, and the back doors are already open, and you see that there is just a wooden chest there, sitting there. It does appear to be locked, but the padlock has already been undone, presumably because he had Leaf open it up just so you wouldn't have to worry about it.
I will just open it up.
Gurgle will cast Thaumaturgy and bust it open.
All right, you bust it open. It kind of does so a little violently, and the chest falls backwards, and you see platinum pieces just go scattering across the floor.
Wow!
There is a fair few of them.
Can my dwarf wisdom count how many there are?
Make a perception check.
No.
Your dwarf wisdom.
Use stone cutting.
As you look in there, there's a couple hundred easily, but what catches your interest is not those platinum pieces, but as you kind of look around, you see that apparently kind of buried underneath them is what looks like a book.
Is that for me?
And the fact that I rolled this makes me laugh so hard, because this is not the one you guys chose.
Ah. Oh well.
Is it better?
No, it appears to be in very good shape.
No,
it has
better than the one we chose.
top two, the AMA guys. So looking at it, appears to be a black book with illuminated illustrations on the front, gold with small red rubies on it as well, and it has the figure of a man. God, what is the man that has the 4 arms and the 4 legs? I can't remember who.
The Da
Oh,
Vinci, the Da Vinci Man?
Yeah, the Da Vinci Man. It has the Da Vinci Man set in the front of it in gold and blazing.
the Vitruvian man.
The Vitruvian Man, sorry.
Do I know what this book is?
Not off the top of your head, but looking at it, it seems to be really well intact.
I'm next.
Gurgle starts scooping all the fallen platinum pieces back into the chest.
Bill Dennis, do you know what this book is?
Balin starts watching Gurgle.
And
Yeah.
take a hand.
Because I know what he's doing.
Yup.
Nope.
You see him doing it. I'll say, all in all, there are 500 platinum pieces here, Gurgle. I would say that you could safely make out with probably 60 or 70 of them.
Oh, I take like 25.
Okay, you take 25.
That's a lot.
You may scoop off 25. There are now 475 platinum pieces in this chest, as well as this book.
I ask Phil Dennis if he knows what this book is.
Make an Arcana check, Phil Dennis.
All right. I'm just.
You know a lot about magical items. Let's see. You have heard of books like this, Phil Dennis. There are books in legend that bestow boons to those who read and follow the values of them. And as you kind of look at it and see the inscription, almost instinctively, you kind of open up the first page and you see glowing lettering appear, and it says, "The Manual of Bodily Health."
Oh, didn't we find one of these, but for wisdom?
Yeah.
You may have, actually.
No, we
Yeah,
didn't.
and
I say as I
Tasha.
prepare Tashra for burial by taking away all of her things and wrapping her in silk.
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
now that you mentioned it, you did find one of these before. That was back when Tasha was in her edgy phase.
But I think Tasha read it already, and it's...
No, I haven't read it.
She did not.
She
You guys
started
haven't had
reading
time
it,
to
but
read
she
it.
never-
Oh my god. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Oh my
It
gosh.
takes like 60
Yeah.
hours or something.
I'm getting her ready for death, not you. Takes the book.
No, I remember that then. I assumed she had read it.
So yeah, I will say that as you kind of look over Tasha's things, you can find a few things with her. She has 59 gold pieces in her pockets. Obviously, she has her holy symbol. Talon is still adorned inside of a sheath.
I have
I just put that in
listed in my
chat.
equipment as I have Toshra's holy symbol listed. I don't remember when I took that.
You wouldn't have had time to take that.
No, not recently. Like it's written in my equipment list, and I don't remember when I remember I took it at some point.
It wouldn't have been possible for you to take it.
This was a while ago. Maybe did I give it back? I must have.
You must
I'll just
have.
remove
He was
this.
casting spells at some point. But yeah, you see Talon, 59 gold pieces. There is some jewelry that looks like it'd be worth, a small amount. 2 vials of green stuff. I'm actually not sure where that was from.
That came from the
Hags.
room with the hags, the big cauldron, and the invisible hags were in the room with the big cauldron.
Oh, well, yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Okay.
Yes.
I should have told you to put a page on that. That's fine. And you also see the Mace of Terror.
And a very, very shredded crown pillow. Or a pillow that a crown once sat on.
Yes. Yeah, I was double checking to see if you had anything else, but I was just naming off the things that, obviously she has lots of stuff, signal whistle, dagger, oil, lantern, but those are the items of immense interest.
No, if she had magical ink on her, no.
No, I don't.
So one of the green vials is.
On top of the holy symbol to Valkyr, she also had a holy symbol of a sun. That was wood with a gold filigree, which Gurgle, you handed that to her that you found in the tomb.
Okay.
I thought we found that on Rictavio's place.
No.
No?
You found that was what Gurgle gave you after he found it inside of one of the crypts.
Oh,
Considering it's at the very bottom of your character sheet, I know it's recent.
okay.
Unless you've readjusted your stuff around, in which case, why would you ever do that to me?
So, I don't know about you guys, but I really don't want to go back to Argynvoss Hold since this just happened. And
Wait, if we do that, that knight's going to be angry at us.
yeah,
Well, me. He's going to be mad at me.
mad at you, and you told you told her that you're the one who killed them. So
Yeah, and that.
Do you think he's even going to be there?
he might be coming.
I mean, he didn't seem like he was going to go anywhere.
Well, there
No,
was
I mean,
something-
his unfinished business was revenge. He can't have it anymore. He might have moved on like she did. Even though he didn't want Strahd dead, he might have been perpetuating his own misery.
might have been why he didn't want him dead, because then he knew he would be gone.
I don't know. I've only been undead for like 8 minutes once.
We did
So-
try. Sorry, go ahead.
It's been like 2 weeks, man.
I just mean like, yeah. No, I'm not undead. Tasha was undead.
Yeah. So the Tome of Understanding and the Manual of Body of Health. Those are the 2 that you have found. One was actually not on Tasha's character sheet, so I don't know who has that.
No,
but you guys
I
have it with
forgot
you.
to put it on there. I think it got stolen from me, and I forgot to put it back on there when it was given back to me.
Oh,
Hmm.
nope, it's on Blinkshaw's character sheet. I
No?
think you gave it to
Okay.
me a while ago.
Classic
Yeah,
Blink
that's
Shot.
probably it.
I think after you
keep
were
it.
free from your curse, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
you gave all that stuff away because you didn't like what it did to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
just
take this.
Just keep it on your sheet, Chris, because we all know where it's going.
And this is where I ask a question because I looked at your character sheets, but I'm not sure who took it. But I know somebody took it because it's revealed in my character sheet here. Who took the magical instrument,
I
the
did.
lute?
Phil
You
Dennis.
have that, Phil Dennis. Okay, I knew somebody took that. All right. I could not find it on somebody's character sheet, but it must have been in the mess that is yours.
It's
But yeah, at this point, you're all sitting here outside. You've probably been sitting here about 10 minutes. I imagine some of it is lots of speaking. Other is just kind of stunned silence at everything that has happened here. And you see everybody make me another perception check. Don't forget,
Mine's
actually,
not.
that... I mean, you can't. It's not going to be that difficult. Don't forget, Balin and Gurgle, you're both at a -4 right now from your resurrection sickness.
-4. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I
To
got
every
Wow.
score or to what?
Go Phil Dennis.
Ability checks and saving throws.
Say that
You
one
have
more
a
time,
-4
because
You have a -4 penalty to your attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws.
okay, I'll make a note of that.
You can add that
Attack.
to your sheet manually. I will show you how to do it in a second.
It's
Okay.
like the past 3 sessions I've been rolling so bad. I think I just got Balined.
No, because I have -4 to my attacks, abilities, and saving throws for being a Balin.
Because, like,
you do not.
My initiative and
Cool.
perception, my terrible ones are all high. Arcana doesn't count. It's always high. It's alright.
So if you do that for all the ones I just clicked there, then every time you roll it, you'll see that it'll give you a -4 to the save.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to do that for you too, girls, just so you can have that done. And you just need to fill it in. There's a save modifier, skill modifier, and attack modifier field. If you just enable those, and then go over here and do raise dead sickness or RD sick, whatever, and then do -4.
Wait, where is it? I don't see where
It's
you're
in your
I
cog
just did
wheel.
it to your character sheet. If you look under
okay,
your
yeah,
throws,
it's,
you see where I have the global save.
yeah.
I've already got them all checked.
Oh,
And now in your main
there's a
core-
global one. Okay.
Yeah, if you look down there where it says, I'm trying to show you something, damn it.
All right. Oh, okay.
If under the global save modifier it says -4, if you repeat that for your attack rolls and your ability checks, then it'll apply. I will tell you guys, you will recover from 1 point to that every long rest.
Okay.
I have
Why
what's
do you?
bless?
Your bless is off.
Oh no, I know. I'm just showing like it works for like
Yeah,
saves as
that's
well.
for
You can
bless.
use it for-
All right, I'm still waiting for the two of you to make a perception check. By the way.
Oh, I did.
I did
It
mine.
was a 10.
Oh, yeah, we did. I got a 14.
Okay.
I'll roll it again with my
Everybody but
modifier.
Balin sees this, actually. Why is it a +4 now? You have to put -4 in front of it, otherwise it'll
I don't know
add.
why I rolled guidance. I must have fucked up. No, my roll was up above 13 -4, so I got a 9.
Yeah.
I
So
like the one.
the only person who doesn't see this is Balin, as Balin is still kind of focusing on the fact that his arm is literally just grown back. It's basically exactly how you left it. It's oddly hairless. Like the hair did not grow in an expedited process, but everything is there. Your nails are actually a little ungroomed. They've kind of grown in longer.
Ew.
But other than that, it feels like your old arm. Moving it around, it feels proper. You are the only one who doesn't see a figure, the shadow of a figure at the very least at first, that has giant wings fluttering over the precipice over Castle Ravenloft. At first, you're not quite sure what it is, but as it sinks down, even as it sinks down, you see it is a figure of marble skin with feathery angel wings that stretch about 20 feet out to either side, and has the features of the abbot.
What?
And as they kind of land there and they look around, for a brief second he kind of looks things over and he says, "Here I was expecting that you all would be in much worse shape."
We have Madame Ava to thank.
I
Hey,
suppose
hey,
that
Abbott.
she beat me here. He kind of looks at you and nods.
When I didn't hear back, we sought any way we could to help our friends.
When you messaged me, I decided to just hurry.
Well,
I owe you a favor. Though, and he kind of looks at Tasha's body. I'm afraid there's not anything I can do for that one.
That was what I was hoping you'd be able to do.
You seem to have succeeded where I could not, though, and to that I applaud you. Defeating Strahd is something that perhaps I could have done, but I always felt it would have no purpose. Perhaps I was just wrong. Kind of looks up to the sky, to the light shining down. It's a beautiful thing you've done, bringing this back to this place.
We had help from Sergei. He came back and showed us how to bring the light of the light sword, or of the Sunblade back to the realm.
Sun sword.
Sun sword. We'll tell you later about that, Balin.
Crystal.
Now it's a sun. Now it's a sunblade.
Now it's a hilt.
I know, but
It's an unimprovised
But
weapon.
hey, you know, you did not lose something and gain nothing back. You got something for it. Yeah, that was something that I was contemplating doing that for a really long time, and then one day we had a talk, and I'm like, I told you I already made my decision about what I was going to do with that. I was kind of considering what I was going to do if I wanted to do it, but I made a decision, and I like what I've gone with a lot more anyway. So
I didn't expect to leave Barovia with that weapon, so I knew that. That's why I was trying to use it as much in the fight as I could.
Yeah, that's what I felt. The reason I felt bad is because he's not using it, and he's like, he looks forward to it, and he's not using it because he doesn't want to get screwed on it, and then he started using it, and it's like, well, whatever. Anyways, he just kind of looks you over and says, I feel odd. There's nothing left for me here now, except perhaps heading back to the Abbey, looking over what I've done.
Hey, what the hell are you?
I suppose there's no reason to keep secrets anymore. I am a Deva of the Morning Lord, who you know as Lathander. And if you are confused what I'm talking about, make me a religion check.
Yeah, I'm hitting that button right now. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
You do not have your -4 on that, so that's a 16. That's a
Diva.
13 for Gurgle. Gurgle's not quite sure. Blinkshot's got a 20.
Trying to find the button.
Pilden's got a 7. Blinkshot and Balin, you are familiar with what a Deva is. A Deva is an angel, an actual celestial being that they are known as the messengers of the gods. They are the ones who send. They are the ones who ascend on the material plane to aid mortals who have greatly earned the benevolence of their deity. Sometimes they are sent to places of great suffering to lend aid in disguise, such as places that have known only famine, they bring rain and food. Places that have known only hardship, they bring, curing of sickness and poverty. To places of great worship to their deities. These are the blessings that deities may send in times that deserve it.
So even though my skills are horrible, actually, I'm not going to roll anything. I'm just going to look at him quizzically when he says that. But Balin's, for once, going to bite his tongue and not ask the question.
He just kind of looks you all over and says, well, I wish it appears that there's not much I can do unless you would like to use your last favor for a bit of recovery.
Do you know how to get out of here?
Well, I was going to say, I think these two coming back from the dead has taken a toll. Is there any way that you could help them reverse that?
Wait. Balin shakes his new arm. Like that's a thing. This is really weird. I have no arm hair. Anyway. No, I mean, it's like what he was biting back a minute ago just is now coming burbling forth. Like, so wait, you're like a fucking Deva and you've been here this whole time and he's been doing this shit and we had to kill him. And you were here and we're not.
I've been here approximately 100 years, yes.
We were here a week and a half or something. I don't know, this fucking place. But all right.
You heard when I said that I knew I could slay Strahd, but I felt deep inside, and I do not understand why, that if I were to do it, that it would not mean anything, that nothing would come of it. That despite me doing that, Strahd would just return.
Because everyone was suffering. Look, this is a vote thing. It's that we work with votes. If we still have one favor left, I'd turn to the Frozen Cloaks. I'm like, I vote that our favor be this guy watches out for the people of Barovia from now on and makes sure that they don't suffer. Just, we're not staying here. He's been here long enough. That's our favor, if you ask me.
I think...
Can he do that?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think two things. One, he's been watching out for the people here as best as he can already. And
as soon as you say that, he just says, I haven't.
All right.
Yeah. Balin will
strike that one.
Echo him like he hasn't.
Two,
I fear that my time here was corrupted by this place. I was corrupted by Strahd. It is why I saw fit to allow the things that has gone on here as to happen. It is why I did not fix the mongrel folk. It is why I let them run havoc in the Kresk when things were needed. It's why I excavated and exhumed bodies to create golems.
You made a
Oh.
zombie wife. Don't leave that one out.
I said golems.
No, she was hot for a golem.
How is
Sorry.
she, by the way? No.
She doesn't have a head. And I have not seen fit to repair her, as I did not feel it was right anymore.
Mm.
But your favor is reasonable. I feel at this point that I may be able to do some good here. Watch over this place. Though I do have worries about what will come of this land. It may be free from Strahd's mists, but it is still in the Shadowfell.
Yeah, Balin will turn back and just say, "It's up to you guys. We do things with a vote." Although
I'm
Now
okay
we-
with that.
now we have
As
even
long
numbers.
As long as you can keep that promise, and you know your god won't send you away tomorrow now that Strahd is gone.
If he does, then I'm afraid his rule trumps your favor. But I imagine now that light has returned to this place, he would be eager to say that it remains.
Sounds good.
Well, if it doesn't, we'll come back and put you in your place.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of looks at you for a brief second, and with a smile he says, "You might be capable of that, but I would advise against."
Oh yeah, many
You
people
just re-
around here
you
told
just-
us we shouldn't go
you
against
just
Strahd.
Just remember what he just said. If you get out of line, he'll come back here and put you in your place. Just nodding.
Well,
affirmatively.
Ba-
I'll point out that you guys in the
Balin.
fight you had with Strahd, he basically just said that he could have handled Strahd himself.
I know. So the fact that I got to lecture him about ethics was fun, but I don't want to push it. So I'm putting this all on Gurgle.
Gurg like whispers to Balin, "No, Balin, you gotta. It's gotta be all of us. I can't do it by
No, it's
myself."
it's an angel thing. Don't worry. He knows what I'm saying.
Oh.
Gurgle will take you apart. It's an angel thing. Don't worry. I know angels.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll do it.
He just kind of
Angel.
looks at you with a condescending smile before he starts to turn and say, "I wish you luck." And he kind of stops and he says, "If you are seeking a way out of this plane, there are several ways, but typically to leave the Shadowfell, you must find a place of ultimate death. It is unpleasant and difficult, and if all else fails, what you may have to resort to." Before his wings start to and he slowly begins to lift off in the air.
Where the fuck is this
So-
place?
Like a 7.
Is it?
That sounds ominous, and I think we just make the Vistani take us.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can we turn to Vistani while they're still here and be like, "Yo, you're leaving, right?"
Yeah, fuck that cryptic angel motherfucker. Anybody know of Vistani that
Does the
Yeah, she left about 15-20 minutes ago.
fuck?
Oh, we can follow her tracks, right?
Slowly or quickly?
She was not, pussyfooting around. She was beating feet.
she's in a wagon?
Oh, you know what? Does this castle have any horses?
Nothing in Barovia has horses. We've established that.
But maybe Strahd took them all.
When you say that, you hear Esther call out, "There were the 2 horses that served Strahd.
Oh, where are they?
They're in the stable house on the northeast of the castle."
They're dead.
I could do. I still have fabricate. I can fabricate a carriage. No.
I thought you were going to say, "I'm going to fabricate some horses."
Yeah.
Just make
Fuck
some
too.
wooden horses with wheels that you guys can push out of here.
Be on style.
Fabricate some mechanical iron horses.
There we go.
Well, then, what do we do? How do we get out of here?
Can we take a very short break? Because it's 8.
Sure. We've been going for 2 hours already, actually.
Yeah, I was
Time
going to
is
recommend break, and
flying
also I was trying to get us back to Phandalin so we can meet Curly's next character because I feel bad she's out of it, out of the scenes.
Yeah, I was kind of, yeah.
But yeah, the longer you guys take in Barovia, like,
I'm trying to get us out of here. It's just hard with Gurgle.
I know. No.
What? I'm
Yeah,
trying to get us out of here.
Gurgle's always the situation.
Just
Sometimes we have very light sessions with players who unfortunately don't have much of a means to join in, but it happens.
That's all right. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it.
I'll be right back, and Balin will think of a great way to just.
click your boots together, Balin, and wish us home.
That's not what the boon did. The boon made me immortal.
All right, I'll be right back.
I'll be dead next session. All right, be right back.
You are absolutely crit failing twice in a row.
I'm gonna crit fail regardless. It doesn't matter. It's awesome.
As we come back, we'll kind of skip a little bit along the time. All of you will bid your farewells to Escher. He has given you a ample sum of 500 platinum pieces, which translated to gold is a hefty value, plus the magical manual that I cannot believe I rolled a d4 and got that. I will tell you now.
475 platinum pieces.
Yeah, 475 platinum pieces, no mistake. The other two boxes, two of them had 10,000 copper pieces in them, and one of them had 1,000 gold pieces in them. So getting the fourth one was the literal best you could have gotten. So congratulations on that. As you all make your way west, following along the road, sometimes a little slower. Some of you are not in the best of shape. You still kind of feel sore and sluggish due to everything you've been through. And Kellen is not the fastest on foot, so he just kind of, he peters along behind you with Eastmark helping him keep up.
Can I
you
interrupt
see,
you one
sure.
second? Like, there were a whole bunch of kids back at the Raven.
At the
winery.
meadery.
At the winery on the other side of Barovia.
Yep.
I wasn't gonna take it out of your hands. I'm just saying what's going on right now.
Okay, you were saying we were heading. Oh, was it west or
You were
east?
heading west from Castle Ravenloft.
So we're heading that direction. I thought you said east.
As you are heading,
should we take a rest first?
As you are heading in that direction, just let me go. As you are heading in that direction, you see that there are people making their way up the other side of the mountain. The gates are already open, and you can see Barovians by the grove are currently making their way eastward up the mountain. And as you pass by them and look down into the valley, you can see even more of them heading from Vallaki west in a land that currently has no mist. The far edges of it, the mists themselves, are not there anymore. The barriers that have been keeping people in the castle in Barovia for so long are no longer trapping people here. And it seems that the Barovian people are taking this opportunity, or at the very least most of them, to finally leave.
I'm so proud.
I'm not going to throw another fight at you guys after what you've done. By the way, at this point, Balin, you're at full health because your regenerate spell has just made you feel amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, it has continued to recover you for the full, I forget the duration. I think it's an hour. Basically, you get back 10 hit points every single minute with regenerate.
Okay, yeah, so full health. Yeah.
And it lasts an hour, so yes. But that hour will be basically coming to an end here in a second anyways. As you do so, you see just the masses of them, not really any familiar faces, as any familiar faces would likely have been dead and gone already. You do not see any, I will say that specifically as you look over them, they seem to mostly be the poor folk. And despite the situation looking up, most people, very rarely do you see a face that seems like it might be hopeful or happy. Most of them still just seem to be absolutely dour.
Be really sad to leave.
Just like even in this situation with hope, they don't see hope. They're doing it because it looks like they feel they're doing the right thing, that this is what they should be doing, but they're still just, there isn't any hope in them.
They don't know any better. Just let them go and see.
How many people are there?
This seems to be like a quarter of the population of Vallaki, so 40, maybe 50 of them.
I am going to... I'm counting how much I have. Yep, I have about 54 gold between silver and gold. Or electrum. Oh, electrum, that's electrum.
The electrum does, the gold doesn't, because you haven't found any gold in Barovia. Oh, sorry, any gold you found in Barovia was not minted here. It is minted from other places. The electrum still has Strahd's visage on it.
Damn it, I don't want to give them that. Yeah, I have 34 gold.
Did you guys add the 59 you took off Tatra? And are you taking her body with you, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
So we're taking the body. I actually don't think we should split the gold up. Like that's in the Tashra's donation to
You can do that.
Volker's thing.
And if you just want to leave it on her, I'm not altering your character sheet, so that's fine. If you just want to leave it on her, I'll keep it as is. Her character's not getting deleted; it's just getting archived. So it's all that stuff is going to be there forever. Are you basically you're handing out coins to the passerbys?
Yeah, I'm of the 30. I'm handing out all of my 34 gold. To
Okay.
people, especially ones with like. I look for families first to hand it out to.
All right.
Basically, all adults.
You see, mixed between them, there are some families, and you see that there doesn't seem to be. Actually, make me a perception check as you look through them. Let's see if you've noticed this yourself. You do. You notice that there doesn't seem to really be any rhyme or reason between it. You see some people off by themselves who look dour, and you see some families where they all look dour. Sometimes you see families where one of the parents looks happy that this is happening, but even as they kind of speak excitedly to their children and their spouse, they just continue to look dour without any rhyme or reason. Sometimes you see it's a child that looks happy this is happening, but the parents look indifferent, like doesn't have any meaning to them.
I was gonna say, do they look like they're like the soulless people that we met?
It seems possible that the ones who don't seem to be able to enjoy this moment are the ones who may not have souls.
Then, yeah, I will still for every I will give a gold to every family as a way to make sure that the kids are at least taken care of.
I'm with spreading out gold, and Balaam will specifically target urchins, orphans, the very poor, the people that were like him.
And I will find of the family members, I will give it to the one who is happy.
I was going to say, all of these people look poor and desperate. None of these. Barovia itself has been a very poor land.
I mean, specifically urchins, like I feel like we can smell our own. Like
okay,
the ones that don't have family, the ones that have been living on stealing and pickpocketing and eating rats their whole life. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about it too. Pretty much everyone in Barovia is like that. You don't buy a house in Barovia. You just live in the house that your ancestors built like 500 years ago and hope it doesn't fall in on top of you.
Good. So does anyone look like they don't have ancestors? That's kind of where Balin's coming from.
No one doesn't look like they have No one here looks like they don't have ancestors. Believe it or not, everyone has ancestors, Balin.
No, Balin doesn't.
Gurgle is like having a real moment. He's struggling where he has his coin purse in his hand, and he's watching Blinkshaw and Balin, and he's looking at his coin purse, and then he turns around and he hugs it really tightly, and then he turns around and he starts walking around and like very begrudgingly and unhappily handing out gold pieces, and the first person he puts a coin in their hand, and then he immediately snatches it back and runs away, and then he runs back and gives the gold coin back to the person, and then slowly starts handing them out to people. And you'll hand out 50 gold. He's really unhappy about it.
Damn.
And every time he does, like he looks, and if he ever makes eye contact with Linkshaw, he makes sure that like he gives him a really stink eye.
Linkshaw will just smile back every time. He's very, 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 very proud of Gurgle.
Good. I'm going to become burgomaster. Anyone who is willing to stay, anyone who wants to stay because they live here, they grew up here, I'm going to see that they had a better life than they had before.
Balaam will kind of look around the group. And oddly enough, his eyes will settle on Phil Dennis. All right, listen. I know what we need to say, but I'm going to fuck it up. Phil Dennis, despite being you, people like you.
Wow.
You know what I mean. Just
So he lays the guy
See,
again. Would you
this
like to
is-
roll a persuasion against Fildenus?
this is why I'm asking you to do this.
You're
Tell
currently at a
these-
-6.
I'm
To
talking
be
to
fair,
Phil
Fildenus-
Dennis. I'm not persuading him. I'm just telling him the facts because we're both intellectuals. Damn it! I'm gonna say this and fuck it up, but they have a goddamn Deva protector and sunlight, and there's shit here they don't know about yet, and just someone has to let them know that Ismark is going to be a good person, and it shouldn't be me because everything I say is shit.
I mean,
Huh?
it's not that bad, Balin. Not everything you say is shit. You say some stuff that are pretty polished turds too. Like you've convinced me that you're not a bad.
Well, Ismark, he's
Look,
He's
Phil
not
Dennis, the only thing I can offer this group right now in this situation is I silence Tashra. I'm the tallest. I will let you sit on my shoulders to make this announcement. That's the best I can do, but you have to try and help these people.
You'll be taller than everybody. That practically makes you Goblin King.
Oh God, and gnomes are great.
You would be
You're
the great gnomish Goblin King.
You're a 9-foot tall gnome with a +1 in charisma and guidance. Tell the people. Tell them, Phil Dennis.
Ismark's not the one taking care of the land. It's gonna be Fuck, that's my problem. I forget names. And someone left. That was Lake.
This isn't important. We don't need him.
No, you don't need him.
I think Ismark said he was going to be Burgermeister.
Yeah, I thought I heard him say Ismark is going to be Burgermeister. Out of character, I don't know Escher's in-law.
Escher, thank you. That was a name. He did say that.
He's
No,
still in
yeah.
the castle, right?
Yeah, so there's still a villain to overturn, but it's not our problem. They have an angel and Ismark on their side.
Not my pig, not my farm.
And I have a feeling Escher wouldn't
But
necessarily.
my internet's done being dead.
Hey, there we go.
There he is.
I have a feeling Escher might not be a specific villain.
Oh no, I live with him. He's a perverted dick.
He might be.
He's a horrible thing. It's just not as bad as Strahd. But the first thing people should do is revolt against him.
Okay, I'm glad that I came back to that. So,
The conversation is this. The conversation is Balin's convincing Phil Dennis to make an impassioned speech, telling these people that there's hope for them here. Ismark's going to lead them, yada yada yada. And I don't, when they mention Escher and they're like, oh, he's in charge of Ravenloft. I'm like, he's a piece of shit and a pervert. And the first thing Barovians should do is overthrow him. But he's not as bad as Strahd. So, Phil Dennis, Ismark, take it away. And I want to put Phil Dennis on my shoulders so he's a 9-foot tall gnome. Because that's all Balin can offer for charisma.
Oh man.
That's me using the help action.
Yep. It's more of just me trying to think of what to say. Anxiety spiking.
God damn it.
You there?
I don't know what the issue is. I don't know why my internet keeps cutting out. Maybe my router is being garbage.
That's no good.
While we wait for Lake, I'm still calculating Blisk's take if I get back to him.
Oh wow.
That's why I'm giving so much money away.
Wait. You're taking it out of your cut, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You weren't there for this. We made a deal.
What?
Okay. So,
What's the deal? Money.
Money.
so
You
what
there,
are you
Lake?
doing? Yeah, I'm here. I'm waiting for full Dennis.
Okay, I
I'm
was
trying
sure
to
you were
expedite this
messing around.
process so we don't have Curly sitting here the whole session.
I guess I don't know where Balin just puts him on his shoulders, explains to me what he wants, and as people are leaving, I'll cast Thaumaturgy on myself to make my voice louder, but not intimidating.
I didn't know you had thaumaturgy. Because thaumaturgy is
my bad.
is a
I was
wizard
thinking it's a
spell, not a
different
cleric
spell.
spell.
Yeah, never mind. I don't have thaumaturgy.
I think Gurgle can do that.
Well,
So, thaumaturgy says you can make your own voice louder.
Yeah,
Is it possible to make?
it will be his own
Like,
voice,
yeah.
not.
Minor illusion says I can make any voice appear. So can I just repeat what he's saying as an illusion to make it?
It wouldn't be any louder. It would just be like spoken volume.
Well, it says up to like the sound of a scream or
Let's
a
just-
thunderclap.
It would be as
okay.
loud as Phil Dennis could call out. That's about it.
Good point. Okay, I'll just
my tiny
hand
body.
wave this because time. But okay.
Yeah. Attention, people of Barovia. There. Start with that. Why are you leaving? It may look gloom and bleak here, but now that Strahd's gone, the sun's out. Stay. Make this land fertile. Ismark, not the lesser. He's greater now. He's gonna rule the land and make it a better place for everyone. Shit.
Make a persuasion check.
Tell them.
Wait,
Tell
I'm
them
helping.
Tell them Gurgle killed Strahd. They
Yeah,
need to know
Gurgle.
that.
Gurgle Sharpeye, who slayed
You are
Strahd.
not proficient in persuasion, Balin. You can't help him.
Oh, you have to be proficient? Damn it.
Strahd is now dead. I'll add that to the end. Hopefully
Make
that'll-
your roll persuasion.
Yeah.
You have a D4.
Woohoo. I'll add the D4.
You have +4 in persuasion. I
You be
hate you for
quiet.
never doing any. God damn it.
Despite your 16, the morose people pay you no mind. The people who are happy, they just kind of give you side-eye glances, and once or twice you hear, "We're leaving because we want to be gone. We can leave now. That is why we're leaving." That seems to be the only reasoning you really get.
He makes a valid point.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we should probably
even I'm siding
skedaddle
against
too.
Phil Dennis now. Yeah,
No.
even I'm siding against Phil Dennis. Like, yeah, he makes a good point. Never mind. Just kind of huck you off my shoulder and let's go.
You stay. Fuck that. No, we're on the road. So yeah, from this point, you all can continue on. Ismark will bid his farewell, and he will make his way back to Barovia. Kellen obviously stays with you all. He's not going to go with Ismark because you all are the ones who've kind of been watching over him. As you pass down through the valley, crossing the fortified village of Valaki itself, you see it is not as empty as you've ever seen it. It's actually full of people, but even now it seems empty with a few people sitting outside. You see much more of the likes of the same. People who are happy, people who are sad, who are just kind of staring off into space. But one person you see who is out on the street is Lady...
Walker?
Wait,
Wachter?
Yes, you see Lady Wachter.
I'm her name.
And she is basically evangelizing to these people that you get the, like, I'm not going to go into a speech here, but you get the general idea that she is almost selling the light coming back as a testament to what she stands for in raising Valaki up. And she's almost speaking like she is the current burgomaster of the town. And next to her, you see Isaac Strasny just kind of standing guard.
Yeah. And
People are listening to her, though.
Gurgle notches his bow
Don't do it.
and then thinks for
Don't do it. We
and
gotta
then
go.
thinks
We
for
gotta
a
go.
moment,
If I have to build a
He
map
thinks for a
Valaki, I
and
swear.
then he puts the arrow back and kind of like brushes.
Yeah.
You continue through Barovia. You see that the Blue Water Inn, the doors to it are open. As you glance inside, there does not appear to be any sign of Danica or Erwin or either of their two children. Presumably, they were already decided to leave or relocated somewhere else. People are still funneling out of the village. Some people carrying things, other people pulling handmade carts themselves with no animals to do it. Others have goats attached to the front of carts, but they are proving very stubborn and unwilling to move these carts along. As you make your way further westward, by the way, I made an adjustment to the scale here. You guys have maybe only gone like 3 hours across the entire valley of Barovia. Because looking at the map, you are moving out of Valaki now.
Hey, Blinkshaw, you think we should destroy that mirror before we leave here?
I think we
Curly,
should
I'm just going to
get
go ahead
outta
and say
here.
you don't have to pay for this session because you're not going to play it this week.
I think we should just
okay.
get the heck out of here.
I will move your
Okay.
payment to next week.
Let's just get out of here.
Okay. Well, I haven't
It's too
paid
late.
it yet because I can't get
It's
to my
too late,
PayPal.
guys, because it's already 9 o'clock. So I'm not going to charge it for an hour. You guys have taken way too long.
Sorry, Curly.
It's okay. I actually can't get into my PayPal yet
Okay.
because I don't have my password. It's on my computer, and we're gonna have to go into my hard drive and see if I can find it.
That's fine.
I mean, since you're a legit dead character, we can even pay your share this week and then come back next week.
No,
Because
don't
when
worry
you
about
lose it, when you lose a PC, you should get something.
She gets to bring in her new PC is what she gets.
Yeah.
She gets to get 8th level character with a charisma bonus.
She's actually going to get to make a 9th level character. You guys are going to level up at the end of this session.
Yeah, I was gonna give you an extra $5, but okay.
All right, so yeah, as you continue along, if you would really like to stop and go over to the Wachter house to see if you could find that, that's up to you.
I think
That's okay. We can get moving.
Yeah, we don't
So the way I came into Barovia is the way I'm going out, lying through my teeth and being like, guys, we can always come back and fix things. Let's just go home. Like we ultimate evil, like I said we would. Let's just go back to Barovia, or back, Jesus Christ, back to Phandalin. Halders, whatever the hell his name is, Harbin still owes us a ton of money, so we have to collect that, and then return all these kids to their areas of parents are missing them. What about the children? Think of the children. We'll come back here and fix it.
He has not stopped this speech since you've left the village of Alaki, crossed the river, made your way through the forest, past the road that leads to Argynvostold. You are now arriving at the winery by the time he's done with this line.
Oh my god, just calm down. I heard it like an hour ago, too.
As you start to creep
Kids,
in,
here, now,
you
go!
see that the entire family has been gathered out front. Not just the Mardikovs, not just Adrian and... God, I'm drawing a total blank on the rest of the names. Why am I drawing so many blanks on names this week?
Adrian, Dimitri, and...
Not Dimitri. I don't think either any of them are named Dimitri. It's in front of Yesterpill in my book, isn't it? Da-da-da-da. Nope, that's the Ember Temple. Come on, in front of the Ember Temple. There they are. There's the winery. You see the entire family: Davian, Adrian, Elver, Stefania, and Dag, including their young children, whom names you actually don't know because they never introduced their children. But on top of that, you see Erwin, you see Danica, you see their 2 kids, Brom and Bragg, and you see that in the middle of this, Erwin and Davian, the elder, are in the middle of shaking hands. And I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but at this point, you see there is a very strong family resemblance between them. They are all related. They are all Mardikovs.
With who? Who's the first person?
Erwin. The Erwin, the proprietor of the Blue Water Inn, the husband of Danica.
Oh, I think we assumed this, but okay.
Yeah, that's fair. But as they're doing this, you also see that all the kids have kind of been wrangled a little bit. Stefania, the eldest daughter of Adrian, is kind of watching over them as she kind of holds onto her kid, as well as watching onto their own children. They're all just kind of looking around up at the sky, seeing sunlight for the first time in God knows how long for them. And as they see you, they all just kind of like jump up and wave, but none of them seem to be running away from her as she's keeping a very tight eye on them. As you get closer, Davian just kind of looks at you and says, I don't believe it. You actually managed to do this.
Yeah, I mean, we said we would.
And the cost was great. But it had to be done.
For what it has given us, I cannot imagine any cost would be so high. Or suppose I should say, any cost would not be so worth it.
You didn't know Tashra, and you haven't been dead.
Yeah,
So enough, I feel for me, but... Anyways, are you about to leave the valley?
Once we collect the kids from Phandalin, that's the idea.
The kids are right in front of you.
Oh, alright, good.
You left the kids at the winery.
I know. I only heard the family was out front. So
No, the kids are all standing out here too. They were jumping and waving at you. They were being looked over by the eldest daughter of Davian.
Okay,
Oh,
in
I
that
didn't
case,
see
so
that.
they're all there. I was like, We want to take the kids home. Yeah, that's what we came here to do.
And we'll probably
were
need
just about to
some
set out
wine
our set.
for travel.
When you say that, he'll kind of think for a moment, and he'll kind of look towards Adrian. And Adrian will kind of walk into the main door. The kids have been a great help. Lots of smashed grapes, though the wine is not as strong. We have not had time to ferment it, but
Then
we
I'll
figure-
have to drink twice as much.
sure. Adrian will wheel out a big old barrel, and he just kind of rolls it along the ground. And as he kind of shifts it over and turns it up, you see his purple grape mash number 3. And he says, "You are welcome to it. The
All
cart
right.
is already loaded up. We are planning to leave ourselves. Not forever. I am going to stay and overlook the winery for a period of time. And Elmer is going to stay here with me, but the rest of us would like to see the outside world for a time."
As long as the meadery is always here and the Mardukov family is always a part of Barovia, I think you guys should definitely do that.
We sell wine.
Winery. God damn it. Yeah, sorry.
Different drink.
I was dead an hour ago. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. Go enjoy things. Keep someone here.
We are going to
Like,
offer
like-
to take the kids with us. See if we could not find our homes while we were there.
Well, then who's going to carry the barrel for us?
He looks at you.
God.
I'm waiting for to finish that before I go on.
Yeah, he just looks at you. He doesn't say anything. He just looks at you, Gurgle.
Look, some of these kids still have families. Some of these kids, they might not remember, still have families, and they still have a village that cares about them. So, the ones that want to go with you can. Leave it up to them, but the ones that want to go back to Favor and back to Phandalin, we should take with us.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My daughter Stefani is... God damn it, I just said Stefani and Stefania. I'm getting the names back and forth over and over again. I just want to say my daughter is going with them. She was going to take the kids and watch over them. See if she could find where their homes were.
That would be great. Tell you what, Phandalin is in need of some excellent wine. Why don't you stop there with us first? We can introduce you to the Tavern Keeper Starter Distribution Network. Off-right.
He'll kind of stroke his long beard. Phandalin. I was not sure where we were going to end up. We were just going to go where the road... Well, he's not going. The others go. I was not sure where the others were going to go, but... And at which point Adrian will say, we were just going to go where the road took us.
The road can take
Follow our road to Phandalin. We're kind of a big deal there.
We there's also a mine that's opening soon. You'll have lots and lots of dwarven miners ready to drink.
Oh, yeah. And they love to drink.
Alright, well, Adrian will shrug and say, I suppose that we could come. The cart is ready to go. We were going to set out just before you arrived.
Sounds like we're all
let's
going
keep on
the same
keeping
way.
on.
Alright, at this point, Danica kind of approaches you and says, you all did a very good thing here. She kind of just gives you a pat on the shoulder, and then she actually moves in for a hug. And she says, oh, I'm so proud of you.
What do I have to roll to stop her from pickpocketing me? Perception? What?
Yeah, roll perception. Okay. She does not pickpocket you.
As far as I know. All right. I've been around Gurgle too long. No one hugs out anymore.
Yeah, she just kind of pulls back, and you see, Danica's always kind of been a stoic woman, but she actually has a legitimate smile on her face. Her husband, Erwin, standing behind her, is kind of smirk on his face as well, as do Brahm and Bragg, 2 children. But at this moment, she says, I just wish that we could go with you. We are going to stay here. We are going to continue to operate the Blue Water Inn. People are still going to need something to look forward to here, and wine is going to need to be sold. But maybe one day you'll send us something else from a far-off place. Maybe we could carry some of that ale you mentioned when you first came here.
We'll send some people that way. And we visited your inn. Why don't you come visit us in our home? We'd be happy to have you as guests.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. For now, we have more important things to handle here. All right. So this will continue on. As the group kind of stands, you all are now traveling out with the majority of the Mardukov family. All in all, you have Davian, the elder. Or sorry, no, you don't have Adrian. You have Adrian, Stefania, Dag, her husband, and their children, and as well as the mass migration of younger children whom are coming along as well.
How many of the werewolf kids do we have?
The werewolf culls in total, I'll have to double check my notes for that one. God, I'm using the entire book tonight. This is what the book was made for. Just flipping through all the pages.
I just dug out my notes from 5/19/28. We get $100 a head for these brats, so I want to know exactly how many.
Oh my god.
We're gonna bankrupt Harbin.
Are these still werewolves? Like,
there are 8 total.
There what?
There were 8 total, including Kellen.
Got it.
Kellen was the only one that seemed to have been turned.
He was the only one that had been receiving special treatment, yes.
Yep.
Is he still receiving special treatment?
Special treatment meant he was a werewolf, Wilderness. They were treating him special because he had actually been turned already.
Oh, I was thinking trying to turn him back, but yeah.
And that was how they knew he had been transformed, because he was the only kid that was actually let out of the cages. That was his special treatment.
That's what you meant, yeah.
Keep up, guys. Come on, keep up. You're better
Let's
than
keep
this.
moving. I'm with you. I just read 2 years of notes in 45 minutes. I'm with you.
So, you are continuing to follow along. The family, the kids, the cart being pulled by 2 large horses. Evidently, the Mardukovs did have horses. They're what they use to move the carts from town to town. And as you follow along, making your way past Crest, you can see even here people are funneling out. No signs of mongrel folk. It seems that they have kind of constrained themselves to the Abbey, or perhaps the Abbot himself has returned there and is ensuring that none of them leave, or maybe he's making good on his promise to try and fix that problem. As you approach the end of the valley, you notice 2 things. The first is a familiar face, one whom you encountered up on top of Mount Zarovich. The Mad Mage is standing there at the edge of where the barrier previously was, his arms crossed, a staff in one hand, and a book kind of attached to his side. And as he turns over to look at you all, he gives you a nod, and his eyes do not seem to have the same madness the last time you saw him.
When he healed me? Same guy?
Yes, the same guy.
He was like lucid then, though, right?
He was lucid then as well.
Okay. I just want to make sure that like nothing else happened that I missed.
Yeah, he did dispel the magic that was enthralling you. That was what he did.
Okay.
And he is just kind of watching as some of these people are going by. The stranger thing you see here is that some of the families, or some of the people who have crossed through the barrier, are looking back into Barovia. Some of them are sobbing. Some of them are actively crying. People are on their knees. Some people are screaming lines of hatred or praying to the gods. And you're not quite sure what it is until a family starts to walk through where was once the barrier, and you see all of them fade into mist except for a little boy.
Some of them are dead elsewhere, aren't they? I say that to the Mad Mage.
The ones with souls cannot leave this place. The ones with souls, they were manifestations of Strahd's will. They never truly existed.
With a soul or without a soul?
Without the soul.
Without.
Oh, without. Okay.
Does that mean we don't have souls?
You have souls. You are outsiders to this place. Barovia was trapped even from the other planes. I don't know why I'm using this voice for this guy. This is not what he sounded like. Barovia was tapped from the other planes. The dead could not leave, and no new souls filled the bodies that came. So only rarely when new people were born did they receive a souls, and only they can never leave this place.
Oh. Oh.
And you think back to all the dour people you saw going the other way, and you realize even now, those people, as they're crossing the barrier, some of those faces you saw, some of those people who could not find hope, are now ceasing to exist.
You mentioned the one little boy that's now like alone. Is he still like wandering around?
He is just standing there without his parents, looking like he has no idea what is going on. There are other kids here that are crying, and there are some parents who are calling for their children who are now missing.
I don't care about the parents. The kids that look like they lost their soulless parents, Balin will make a point to go around and just kind of be like, hey, this is going to sound so creepy out of character, but like, hey, bunch of kids here, lots of fun, come with us, just because I know how it sounds, but it's
candy, man.
But it's D&D, damn it, and you know what? That doesn't exist
Make
there.
a persuasion check, Balin.
It's even worse than a candy
That's
van. You're in
definitely
a
a
wine crate.
Blinkshaw, guide me. All right, hold on.
Blinkshaw doesn't have the time to guide you. You
I
already
know he
did this.
doesn't.
With an 11?
Wow, that's a -6, and I still rolled a decent.
How the hell did you get a minus? Okay, that's an 11. Yeah, no, you're right. That checks out. So you rolled a 17 minus 11. That's out. Despite everything, the kids seem to gravitate towards the other kids who are leaving. There is a notable disparity between them. The Barovian kids are paler, their hair is kind of blue, and their bodies look like they were sun bleached compared to everything else. And the other kids, they seem wary of them, but there's no hostility at the very least. All of them seem too terrified of what is going on to really speak out. It is at this point that the Mad Mage kind of steps forward and says, perhaps it is time that we all do proper introductions. And he will extend a hand. My name is Mordenkainen.
Ooh, snap.
Do I have to
out
roll
of character?
Do I have to roll Arcana for that?
You do not have to roll. Everyone knows who Mordenkainen is. He is famous.
Especially if I have some of his spells.
Mordenkainen.
I knew that Blinkshaw was like, I know who it is, but he's just been waiting for that reveal in this campaign.
Oh, man.
God damn it.
Wow.
I'm sure that you may have heard of me, and you also may have heard of stories of me now that we've been in Barovia. With my failure to overthrow Strahd the year ago that I came here. Oh, you believe him. He is telling you the absolute truth. You
I know, I just rolled
deception.
I rolled in like someone's like, I'm Mordecai, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. I'm, Helm.
I'm Strahd.
And he kind of waves his staff over and kind of sets it on the ground. They are going to have a difficult journey getting out of here. The Shadowfell does not let people go easily, but perhaps with this dread realm falling, they will be able to find their way out.
Mr. DeKinden, I happen to know for a fact that
It is just Mordenkainen.
Sorry, Mr. Just Mordenkainen. I happen to know for a fact the deity that rules this place wants things back to normal. So the things that belong here will be able to leave, and the things that don't belong here will be able to leave. And the things that do belong here will stay.
He kind of looks over at you, Blinkshaw. That is leaving. I do not see anything stopping it.
It's not an it, it's a dwarf.
His name is Blinkshaw.
Specifically, he was looking at the holy symbol of Ravenkind.
Does he have it?
It's a dwarf.
It's still on his person. It's not glowing anymore. That won't.
I didn't
Still there.
Actually, Gurgle has it.
Gurgle had it last.
Oh, you had it last. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm looking at the portrait on the main screen. That's right. You never gave that back to Blinkshaw, did you?
If
Of course he did.
They
Wait,
couldn't. they could have easily have taken it off of my corpse at any time.
That's true.
Draw
Because the
no
last
drop.
time you would have seen it actually, would that have actually? You know what? I think in this instance, Easemark, if he would have seen it on Gurgle, if he was bringing back Blinkshaw, he would have put the holy symbol back on Blinkshaw. Because seeing the
Okay,
holy
that's
symbol on
fair.
Blinkshaw probably would have been the smartest thing for him to do. It
Yeah.
would have seemed
Blinkshot doesn't
reasonable.
steal. Blinkshot doesn't steal holy symbols from corpses. Unless they're higher pair.
This land will find some peace. For once in a... I can't imagine how long, but it finds peace, and that is what matters.
So, you tried to kill Strahd.
I
Did
tried.
I guess that
I
didn't
tried.
work out. So, are you like offering a reward to the heroes that did?
How about a trip home?
I like that.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. But like, is there also like a monetary reward?
He just kind of gives you a look like... He's taking you home. Is that not enough?
Let the guy who invented magic do what he wants to do, Gurgle. Be nice.
That's
You're
more
more
than
You invented magic?
I did not invent magic, but I have created a fair few bit of arcane studies myself, yes.
I happen to study magic too. Gurgle like huffs on his fingernails and brushes them against his chest in a very like act of confidence.
He just kind of gives you a nod. He does not smile. He just gives you a nod.
Probably created a few spells in my time too, but yeah, let's go home.
If you would like, I can take you all home now. Well, he kind of looks at the party you're traveling with. I can take most of you home. I'm afraid I can only take up to 8 of you.
Oh.
The kids.
How long would it take us all to get there?
What do you mean?
Like
We went through the mist. We can't leave here without these kids. We came here for them.
When you say that, he kind of looks back to the road behind him. Some of the people, the ones that are odd off, are families who have just pushed on, realizing that there's no hope in waiting. You see that they are just walking down the same bleak terrain that Morovia was made of. And Mordekainen says, they are going to wander the Shadowfell until something kills them or they find a way out. That is what they are going to have to deal with. I am offering you a trip home now.
okay, I'm out. Yeah, let's go.
Will you send the kids home with us?
As I've said, I can take up myself and up to 8 people.
All right, Blinkshot, pick your favorite 4.
And you realize there are 8 kids, so...
It'd be 3, not 4.
Well, there's 4 of us, right?
And him.
And then there's. We said him plus
No,
8.
he plus 8.
Oh,
He count.
okay.
It's technically 9, but he has to go
So-
because it's him casting the spell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he could stay here, right? I don't know how your magic works.
I'm afraid it doesn't work that way.
All right, Blinkshot, pick which ones you want, or we flip a coin.
I'm staying here.
Yeah, I'll stay. You guys can go
Wait,
back.
no, no, we gotta go all together, and it's all of us.
Can he send the kids instead? Take him to
Well, what are
the
the
Thorin.
kids gonna do?
Take him to Sildar.
They're humans. They'll be okay. They can survive out here.
If that is what you would want, that is something that I am capable of.
Out of character, will this ever get us back to Tasha so we can bring her back in?
No, this session is unfortunately Curly's just not going to get out of the set. Not going to be in this session at this point. It's just taking too long.
Sorry, we couldn't hand wave enough. We were trying to, but every time we hit
okay.
an ethical quandary, we're like, I can't not do this.
I wasn't going to kill Sasha off until she left Barovia because she was going to die one way or another. Her goal was done, but because she got killed by Rahadin, it just kind of cut her short period.
Yeah.
But sorry, guys. Turns out this is something that you would have realized if you went somewhere else. But I'll tell you here: the Revenants at Argynvostel, they're all gone too. If she were to leave Barovia, she would not have passed. She would have disappeared, and just like everybody else.
Out of character, I kind of guessed that's what was going to happen. That's why I haven't been super sensitive, because I feel like Curly knew this ahead of time and isn't horribly grieving. But I mean, like, I was trying to get Curly in as a player, but we keep encountering things where it's like, I mean, they just wouldn't do this at this point. So, like, if it's those kids and the Mad Mage get to leave, or we do, we're going to argue about it, because we've already all died. At this point, we're like, no, we're doing the right fucking thing. That's how I feel about it anyway. Gurgle is different.
Let me double check something right quick. I need to actually double check two things.
I would ask the wizard what spell gets them home.
I was going to cast a plane shift.
Do I have to roll for that to know what it is?
You would have to roll for that.
Alrighty.
That is high-level magic that you are not privy to yet.
I deleted my sheet. Hold on.
What?
Not deleted, I just closed it. But words are fucked up. Oh, I have an ability fuck up on this, don't I? Yeah, it's gonna suck. I'm not gonna know what this is. 11.
No, you are not familiar with plane shift. I mean, the idea is obvious, but unfortunately, you are not sure what specifically it would entail.
All right.
You will just have to trust that he has told you the truth about what it is.
No, I believe it. I just don't. I was planning to figure it out myself, but yeah.
It is something that I can cast. He kind of considers it more than once today, but I could only cast it once. I would have to come back for anyone else who stayed behind. If you wanted to remain in Vallaki or somewhere nearby, I could potentially return for you tomorrow.
I'm okay with that.
If you
can
truly
do that,
wanted me to take the kids now.
That would be.
Or we can send one of us with you. We can put you up in our manor. It's very comfortable. You'll be very safe, and then come back the next day. But you have to understand, we came here mainly for these kids. From what we've been through, to leave them here now would spit in the face of everything we've sacrificed.
As you're considering that, you're realizing that you could take the kids and you could take yourselves, but you would also be leaving the Mardikovs behind after you just agreed to go with them.
Right. So, I mean, I wrote down these names. If him 7 kids and 1 frozen cloak go, they come back tomorrow. The next day we can take 3 frozen cloaks, him, and 5 Mardikovs.
That would be Stefania, Dag, their 2 children, and their baby. That would be just enough.
Believe me, I have spreadsheets open.
Wow.
If I to do anything, but Keith, it is to have a spreadsheet open.
Balin has a higher intelligence than I do, so I'm doing this on the fly. This shit faster. But yeah, the idea is we can get all 8 kids, the Mardikovs, and all the frozen cloaks, assuming Tashra's luggage, out of here in 2 trips.
All right.
Tashra's luggage. Let's carry on.
Snake's kid, yeah.
I am offended.
You're not offended, you're a bard now.
Actually, now that you think about it, if you do take the 2 kids who just lost their parents, that would be too many. You have to leave those behind.
I'll trick them into hanging out with Ismark.
You could tell them that they can head to Barovia and Ismark will take care of them. If you'd like to spread that word around, period, if people are distraught and they don't know what to do, that Ismark is staying in Barovia, that Ismark the Greater, as you started to call him, the Burgomaster of Barovia, would be happy to help take care of them.
Yeah, the non-Phandalin kids and anybody else who's sad and doesn't. Ismark will feed you, clothe you, house you, everything. I've never liked Ismark. We have a friendship based on, turmoil, but yeah, everyone go Ismark the Greater. Give him my sigil. He will take care of you.
Babies are creatures. Dead bodies are objects.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Dragon skin luggage.
I have
Oh my
just subtracted.
Oh.
I have just subtracted 50 electrum to give to Ismark to feed all of the kids that we're sending him.
Okay. Are you? Well, Ismark's already gone, so you're giving it to one of the kids to give to Ismark?
I'm gonna stay here for the next day as one of the three.
Okay.
So
you
I'll
could travel
go
back
find
across,
Ismark.
and actually, you could help guide them back across after they leave if you'd like.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah,
I'll do that.
I'm voting Phil Dennis go because A, I want those two to talk, and B, he's the most responsible.
I was gonna say I wanted
Yeah.
Charlie to go, but all right.
And Gurgle says, "I want Gurgle to go."
No. Gurgle does not want to be alone with all these kids and Mr. Mortal Conan, Mr. Wizard.
I trust Phil Dennis to give the 50 electrum to.
Exactly.
Everybody, if he wants me to go, then I'll go in the first round. Otherwise, I'll wait and he can go.
Why are you giving away more money? We can't keep doing this.
I'm doing it so you don't have to, Gurgle.
But if you do it but if I don't do it, then I'm going to lose my magic, and I don't want to lose my magic, and I don't want to keep giving away money.
Well, you will if
lose
you
your magic.
you will if you keep pissing him off.
Wait,
You won't.
I
lose
don't
your
want to
magic,
make.
Gurgle.
Be
Shall
sure.
I get to it? And it seems like you've
Yes.
made your mind. So,
Yes. Let's move on.
all right. He will gesture for all the kids and Phil Dennis. Minus Kellen. I imagine you don't want Kellen specifically to stay with you because you guys are looking after Kellen so diligently.
Yeah, he's coming back with us on day 2.
Yeah.
He might be a vampire. or
He will
werewolf.
gesture all of you to gather hands in basically what is basically a giant kumbaya circle.
Mm-hmm.
And as they do that, he begins to speak these arcane words. And after a second, you see all of them kind of flatten down into the earth. And then rings, as they disappear, rings of arcane blue kind of circle around. And then they just kind of sizzle and fade away.
We sent one frozen cloak with him, right?
Yeah, Phil Dennis,
Phil
7
Dennis.
kids minus, and all the kids minus Kellen.
Before the cast, I shove the silvered. Only because Balin doesn't know if we're gonna get out of this one. I shoved the silver scimitar in his hand, and I said,
His
"Give
hands are
this
currently
to."
full, holding a child's hand and Mordekainen's hand.
Can I attach
You
the
just
shield
shove
to
it
the
into his
Move on,
back.
move
Stab
on,
him.
move on, move
Stab
on.
him.
This is why we're
Right.
3
Oh,
hours.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Move
this
on.
is why
Okay, okay.
this session took 3 fucking hours.
There's so many
It's gonna
important
take, like,
things
an
to wrap
hour
this
and a
up.
half.
Okay. I'll do it.
I'm
when I get
partially at fault here. I'll take that, but still.
back. Okay.
I could have just had Mordekainen show up before you guys even thought about it and popped you guys out of there against your will. But that's
Sure.
I didn't want to do that.
I drop it. Keep going.
All
Here,
right.
take this.
So, yeah.
Shink.
You all arrive. Phil Dennis, with a brief moment, you feel like your body's kind of squished, and then you kind of spring up, and all the kids and Mordekainen arrive. Not outside of Phandalin, but outside of the city of Neverwinter, which you know is just 3 days travel away from Phandalin. But as you kind of take note of this, Mordekainen will say, "I'm afraid I've never been to Phandalin, but Neverwinter is a place I'm very familiar with. I'm sure we will manage to take this, and I will be happy to help you guide the children back to the place."
All right. That sounds. Where are we going?
As you all can start along the road. Feeding the kids is a bit of a chore, as you are not a hunter, Phil Dennis, and over the next day, the kids do get hungry. And do you have any rations on you?
I do.
Okay. You can feed the kids, but they will eat up all of your rations over the next day.
That's okay. I have 4.
Yeah, they eat up all their rations, and they're still hungry. Some of them are complaining about the fact they have nothing to eat.
Fuck.
And Mordekainen kind of looks at you like, "I'm afraid I don't have anything to help with this one, but tomorrow." As you all lay down and camp for the night, Charles keeping a careful watch over all the kids. But you notice as you are every time you kind of look over, he's watching you more than he's watching the kids, Phil Dennis. And it's a strange thing to see that he's back in his normal form, but every time you kind of catch him out of the corner of your eye, he's kind of staring at you. But every time you look at him, he kind of looks away like he wasn't doing it.
Are you sure I noticed that, honestly?
Make a perception check. That's a fair point. No, you don't notice this. You're right. I looked at your passive perception. You're right. You don't notice this. He's stealthier than you are.
That's what I'm saying.
But at the beginning of the next day, Mordecai will ask you just to stop, and then he will disappear by himself. The next morning, you guys, we can discuss what you all have gotten up to with Barovia in Discord, or I'll actually open up another Discord if you guys like to talk about that, and then character roleplay for that if you'd like. You can cover what you've did in Barovia on your last day, just to expand on this limited time we've spent. And Mordecai will hunt you all down in Barovia, and he will basically he will basically say, "I'm ready to take you all home, or at least as close to home as I can get you."
I'm ready to go.
Yep, we're good.
Did he walk to Phandalin with everyone else? So only at Petersburg?
No, he basically had everybody camp. No, sorry, that wouldn't make sense. You can keep those filled in. He would have had everybody camp, basically stay in an inn in Neverwinter, because obviously he would needed some place to return to. Whoa. So he would cover, he would cover inn stay for everyone. It is a nice little inn called my brain is not remembering what it's called. Fuck. It's an inn called the Driftwood Tavern.
Driftwood Tavern.
He will pay. Yeah, he will cover rooms for everyone.
I'll buy food for everyone.
Yeah, he will buy rooms and food. He'll cover that. It's not very expensive. It's like 10 gold pieces total. He will happily do that. And then the next morning he will disappear. And then later, as he will find you, it will be later that day that all of you will be whisked to the outskirts of Neverwinter. And he will tell you where all the children are, and you can all reconvene. The Mardikovs, upon arriving, they seem a little shaken to see it, and they're staring around star-eyed, like they've never seen anything like this before. Like they keep making comments of how bright things look, and the sun in the sky, and staring at it too long, and then kind of having to shield their eyes from it. All in all, they are just not used to this experience.
Oh, it's been a day. I can put all my spells back. Just saying.
Don't worry. You will get
also,
quickly.
Their cart didn't come with them. They left that behind.
Oh.
I say, don't worry. You'll get used to this very quickly, and we'll introduce you to the tavern keeper still. We've got a good word in there.
So, you all can reconvene, meeting up at the Driftwood. The Mardikovs will actually show interest in staying here and speaking about what they may be able to do with this. This is part of the reason they came, to see the cities and to meet the people. Neverwinter itself is mostly a kind of a destroyed city, as it is. As the eruption of Mount Hotna over 100 years ago did a fair amount of damage to it. So only the Dock Ward and the Noble Ward are really rebuilt and intact. The few stores you guys have been to as you've been here, and the temples you've been to are the notable exception. The rest of the city is largely in ruins. But as this catches up, and you all can... God, I'm losing my train of thought now. It's getting late for me, too. You all can begin to escort the children back down to Phandalin. If you'd like to buy supplies for the road, such as rations, you can do that. Rations are 5 silver for a day.
Yeah. Probably buy some.
Yep.
I know I'm glossing over a lot here, but again, I want to get this point to where you guys can do what you're going to do, and there will be time to talk about this later.
Are we able to spend the Electrum with Strahd's face?
Yes.
Okay.
Mintage is something that each city makes its own mintage, but so long as the metal seems pure, currency will be accepted just about anywhere, with the exception of city-specific currencies like crescent moons from Silvery Moon, which is the equivalent of a platinum piece. They tend not to go for as the same printage as other places because they are specifically a currency printed for the city of Silvery Moon. Waterdeep has its own stuff like that as well.
Okay.
It's called a towel. And it's basically the mixture between it's basically their version of an Electrum piece. But Electrum is recognized. Yeah, you all can handle the kids. Mordecai will bid you adieu, as he feels that bringing you back, he has done enough, and he has matters that he must constantly attend to, so he will have to make his way, he'll have to make his own way.
Well, thank you, for getting us here and stuff.
Yeah. As you're saying that, he just walks around the corner and is gone.
He was never here.
Sorry, my computer just kicked into airplane mode for no reason, so I'm back.
Okay. You are all in Neverwinter. The Mardikovs are staying at the Driftwood Tavern, and you all are making your way to Phandalin.
Score.
You up. Yeah. So the trip to Phandalin is mostly nonchalant. As you are on the road, and this is where a little bit of curling, you meet some travelers who are camped out on the wayside, like they have just recently set out themselves. There are two of them here. And Curly, if you would like to describe your character, I'll let you go ahead and describe your character.
Absolutely. You see a female elf. She is where do I have this written down? A very beautiful elven woman with long, wavy brunette hair, sparkling amber eyes, and full red lips. She has an hourglass figure and long, slender legs. Flashy gold earrings dangle from her ears over fancy, expensive-looking attire. A high-collared blue corset tunic with gold clasps, and a white undershirt with long sleeves that go all the way down to her wrists, and elegant gloves made of tooled leather, and black pants that tuck into high, dark brown leather boots. She carries a finely crafted lyre made of dark wood and decorated with gold filigree. She's, yeah, that's what she looks like.
Well,
Balin's gonna.
do you need this?
Character.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And I will say,
You just
you
said
also,
describe our character.
well, no, you,
I
I will say,
a goblin.
sitting with her, not technically next to her, but kind of across to her, like, the impression you get is two travelers who perhaps just stayed at the same campsite because it was convenient, is a shadow-skinned woman with long white hair. It would give you the immediate impression of a drow, but there's a little bit of flush to it like you wouldn't expect. Her ears are slightly rounded, suggesting, God damn it, did we lose Keith again?
We did.
Fuck, I'm just going to have to wait till he gets back. Or you know what, it's fine, I can rescribe this. And you see her ears are very slightly rounded, suggesting that she is actually a half-elf. And as she sees you all, she will... I'll describe again now that Keith's back. So what did you miss out on, Keith?
Sorry. I heard probably half of Curly's description of her character, blank, shadow-skinned woman, campsite, blank.
Okay, so, yes, the description, Curly, you'll see her character portrait soon enough. You'll be able to know who that is. I will actually reveal that to the... I don't have that in the script. That's fine. Yeah, you can give that description later. The woman that is sitting across from her is a shadow-skinned woman. Looks mostly like a drow, but there's a little bit of flushness to her cheeks that suggests that her skin is not as dark as normal. Her hair is long and white, and her makeup is done well, neatly, like takes care of her appearance. But you see her ears are very softly rounded, suggesting that she is a half-elf, not a full drow. And as she sees you, she just kind of looks and says, "Well, look at this. Do you care to join us at our campsite?"
Gurgle draws a dagger and steps back.
"I'm not going to harm you, little goblin. I was just enjoying conversation with my friend here." And she will gesture towards the elf sitting across from her.
Well, hello. You're traveling to Phandalin, I assume. Are we outside Phandalin? Is that where we are?
You're about you would say you're about a days away from the Tribor Trail at this point.
Okay.
And that's another day from there would be to Phandalin.
More travelers on the road. It's a pleasure to
Yes,
meet you.
How convenient that we all managed to meet up like this. My name is Elshara Ontel. I'm traveling to Phandalin myself on a favor for a friend.
Miranda Yulati, at your service. And I curtsy.
I'm Blinkshaw. We're heading to Phandalin and bringing these kids with us.
I was going to ask about that, but it seems that's unnecessary. Is there a reason that you're taking these kids? I'm sorry, I must really ask.
Some of them might have been from Phandalin. Some of them will need to find a home.
Some of them are going home, and some of them are going to a new home.
Is there a reason that you're taking them from Neverwinter to a city that is largely... She kind of considers her words, like maybe she doesn't want to insult you by what she may say about Phandalin.
Can I get an insight check on her?
Make an insight check.
Is she, like, threatening?
She seems like the nicest person you ever met, Gurgle.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
To the dark elf
She's
lady,
definitely
let me
not
just say
lying.
this. And Balin says out loud to the Dark Elf Lady. To the Dark Elf Lady, let me just say, a while ago, we went on a trip to Phandalin on a favor for a friend, and now we have 10 kids. Trust me, it's important.
I only
mean,
count 8, unless you're counting.
None of them are mine. He got real busy.
Balin like makes a show of counting all 8, and then points at Blinkshaw and Gurgle. And he's like, "I've got 10."
She offers you a polite smile.
Tell you what, roads are always safer traveling in a group. Why don't you join us?
That was what my friend as I was suggesting to me, so...
You know how I have a thing about spiders? Well, it's because spiders come from drow. And,
are you saying this out? Are you saying this in character?
I'm like whispering this to Balin and Blinkshaw.
So I actually know a part of this in character, so I will actually kind of put a hand on Gurgle's shoulder and to both him and her be like, he's had bad experiences, and I turn to him and I'm like, you're not there anymore. It's safe here. You're with us. I promise.
In Goblin, I will say, don't worry. We have your back.
But like, even to her, I'm like, had a bad experience. I'm sure you can guess. He'll be fine.
If you'd like to tell the story over the campfire, I'm sure Ariana and I would love to hear it.
I'm sorry, it's Arena.
Arena, sorry.
That was actually what it was, Irina.
It's spelled Ariana.
No, it's not. It's spelled Arana.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, mistake. It is Arana. I swear that I saw an I in that. I may have caught a typo on that at some point or something. I don't know.
That is so perfect, though, for somebody that you just met over the campfire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi,
Typically, I'm better with names than that, but...
Arana and, well, I guess the drow. Well, yeah. You say
My name is Elshara. Elshara Ontel.
I'm Phildennis, the gnome.
Well, it's such a pleasure to meet you all. Come sit around the fire.
Yeah.
Might as well get to know each other.
I'm going to drop by. Go ahead, Balin.
Arana, your friend is doing a favor for someone. What are you doing in Phandalin?
Oh, I'm just looking around for a purpose, I suppose. Just try people who need.
You're cutting out.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
I heard it. Yeah, you are, but I heard most of that. I think. Looking for people who need help. Looking for purpose.
Yeah, looking for people who need help. Looking for a purpose. I'd heard there was some strangeness going on in Phandalin, and I thought maybe I could be of assistance.
Strangeness?
Yeah, what? Like what?
Like, would Raina have heard of the werewolf stuff?
She wouldn't have heard of the werewolf stuff. She would have heard of something else, though. At which point, I'll cover in. I'll try to say, have you not heard, and you're still heading to Phandalin? Well, there's been undead sighted around.
Undead sighting.
But tell us what you heard.
She just kind of looks at you like she just said what she heard. She says, nothing to worry yourself. It's not as if an army has been amassing, but I've heard reports that undead have been causing minor issues and harassing people who are traveling to and from along the roads. Not to mention the standard creatures, goblins and hobgoblins and the like.
I kind of turned to Blinkshaw and Phil Dennis. I'm like, didn't we kill all the... No, I mean, hi, Gurgle. No, never mind. Don't mind me.
No, it's okay. You should definitely kill most other goblins that you come across. They're a shitty bunch, them goblins.
I mean, that or make a, blood pact with them because they're the greatest people ever.
I have a
The
feeling
love-hate with goblins is so strong.
You're not just a goblin anymore, you're a frozen cloak.
I have a feeling I might know where some of those undead are.
We'll see how the rest of you surfaced while this
Guys,
is
can you not hear Chris? Yeah, can you guys not hear Chris?
No, sorry.
time.
Like, you guys just straight up started talking right on over him.
I have a feeling I might know where some of those undead are coming from. Perhaps what was it? The red cloaks. The red.
It's the red wizard. It's the
Red
mage.
wizard.
It's the goddamn Alwell mage. And I was thinking the same thing, and I thought I was crazy, and then you thought it, and now we're both fucking crazy.
Sounds about right. Let's
Why
go
on
take care of
earth would a red wizard be this far out?
Because we
No,
beat the
yes,
shit out of
then.
him.
No.
We beat him up and sent him on his way,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
like possibly 10,000 years ago. Actually, I turned to Oh,
Curly,
go ahead,
what are
sorry.
you trying to
Go ahead,
say?
Curly.
I wanted to ask if Arena, by the way, it's Arena, has heard of the Frozen Cloaks.
Make a history check.
History.
No.
Nope.
Oh, not good.
Blake Shaw, give her guidance.
Wow, for a first roll, that's not
Never heard of
promising.
Frozen Cloaks ever.
That's okay. We'll work on that.
Has Alshara.
Just totally random for roleplay reasons. Where is Tasha's body?
A wagon.
Charles is just gonna look at you like, I'm sorry, you said your name were the Frozen Cloaks? I feel that the name is familiar. What are you? You're the adventuring party that was structured in Phandalin. Yes, Sildar mentioned something in his correspondence about you.
Oh.
Not
Sorry, I haven't heard that
familiar?
word in so long, and I just got nauseous. Just Balin kind of excuses himself and walks over to the tree line and starts taking long, bated breaths, like, ugh.
Well, yes.
And then as you do that, she kind of looks over. She says, "Should I not mention that he's the new mayor of Phandalin then?"
You probably shouldn't around him.
Balin vomits.
I think you heard it though.
My father mentioned something about it, how the Hobbit had been embezzling money and the town people ran him out. He's not the full mayor, he's the interim mayor. There's needs to be an election and so on and so forth. It may have already happened as far as I'm aware, but he's
I
the current ruling body.
whisper over. Just keep mentioning it to Balin.
She looks at you like she's a little confused, but she will say, maybe I'll leave that to you. You seem to have a better handle on them than I do.
No, it's fine. I heard everything. Blinkshaw, you're the worst. Elshar, it's not your fault. Actually, the Harbin thing's good news. That guy sucked. But Sildar's the... Sildar's the mayor of Phandalin now.
What could you possibly have against him? And an upstanding member at that. He's an old friend of my father.
Well,
It's a
you've
story.
never seen him. You've never seen him bound and gagged in a goblin Cragmaw hideout, begging for his life, and then being very, very ungrateful about being rescued.
She just blinks at you like she has no idea what she just heard.
That's fine. Balin's used to being
He's very
hated
blunt.
and misunderstood. Yeah,
He's very blunt.
just kind of shaking my head like, you've never seen the dark side of Sildar.
Arena is just kind of sitting there looking kind of amused and kind of also a little bit flabbergasted, but just kind of watching.
There
No,
are
this'll be-
also 8 kids just kind of wandering around close to dark around the campfire. By the way.
Yeah.
Arena is
Can
going
we-
to go wrangle up the kids a little bit, and she's going to start playing her lyre.
I'm gonna help. I'm gonna let Balin rant and rave over.
Actually, my plan was to go play with the kids too and not dig us into a hole. But now that everyone else is doing it, I'm like, ah, shit.
I am not
Ashara
sitting
specifically
alone at this
does
fire
not
with
go
a
anywhere
draft.
near those kids. Yeah.
Is Mordekainen with us still?
No, he stayed in
You
Neverwinter.
dipped.
All right, good, because I'd be really embarrassed.
I'm going to gather up all the kids and start playing my lyre and start singing a song.
Make a liar check.
A
This will
lyre
be with
check?
your dexterity.
Is that persuasion?
That's
Your proficiency plus your
deception.
dexterity.
Deception.
Plus dexterity. So add 4 to that.
Surprise, guys! I don't use charisma performance checks for my playing instruments because that's not what you're supposed to do.
Thank you. That's actually how it should be.
Yeah,
Two.
with a 20, it is a fine playing of this instrument. The kids actually gather around. This is the first time they've had entertainment in God knows long. Mesmerized by this attractive elf who is playing this wonderful song on her instrument.
I will actually tell you about the song she's singing. If you'll give me a minute, go ahead and continue. ahead.
While she's figuring that out, just real quick, I will shoot to Alara like, oh shit, what's the date? What's the date today?
This is a question that has never ever been fucking asked in this campaign.
Skip it. Just tell me how long since we left Faerun for Barovia, because Balin's not really sure.
Judging by the fact that the season has changed, when you all left, it was.
I'm basically on her answer.
I know. So I will say that you also can tell how long you've been gone, because when you all left, it was autumn, and as you've arrived, it is cold. It is the middle of winter right now. And judging by the date that she tells you, you guys have been gone the better part of 2.5 months.
God damn Barovia.
Which
we had 6 long rests in that whole campaign. How did we work on that long?
You traveled north into the forest, and the trip back now, that is not too far off the bar. There may be a little bit of strangeness in it, but you've got about 2.5 months.
So I feel like we had 6 long rests in that whole campaign. Has it been 2.5 months? Okay.
You slept a lot more than 6 times.
I know. I'm just giving you shit. I'm just saying. In that whole campaign, I was like, I felt rest starved and desperate and about to die. So yeah, hearing that, Balin's like, oh yeah, that's right. Sorry,
Balin.
This timepiece is off.
You need to get out of Barovia mode.
I don't know what you're talking
about. This is
about.
also an interesting thing, because for the first time in the entire time you guys have been gone, as the sun goes down, you guys see a sunset.
Oh god, we should have roleplayed that.
I'm saying it's happening right now.
Oh, I thought it was nighttime already.
I guess, girl, you're not the keeper of time anymore.
I mean, I could still keep track of time.
We'll get you another goat.
Balin completely goes off on his own. Just wanders from the group like he's in a trance, and just stares unblinkingly into setting sun, which probably will require perception failures later. But yeah, just weeping, weeping.
I'm gonna make sure that after I finish my song. Actually, I'm not sure if I have everything ready for this yet to describe it. So maybe I don't want to do this yet. But after I finish my song, I'm gonna make sure the kids are all sitting around the fire and safe, and I'm gonna follow Balin.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit with the kids.
All right. Elshara looks like she is out of place dealing with these children.
That's fine.
So I follow Balin when he goes off to look at the sunset.
She could go. You know, we don't need a drow hanging around.
Leaving all the tension over there.
Yeah, leaving all the tension over there. All right, so you follow Balin as he goes to stare off at the sunset.
So yeah, I assume if we're on the Tribor Trail is where I assume we are, right?
Yeah, you all are actually a couple miles off from like the cliff faces that see the ocean next to Neverwinter, but I imagine you're not going that far off. But you have a very close view of the ocean itself. It's off in the distance.
Yeah, you could easily come upon him on like a rock face in the some hilly parts of the woods where he's just like sitting up against his back against the stone, watching the sunset, like not like sobbing, but just silent tears down both cheeks, like it's something he hasn't seen in 1,000 years or 2.5 months.
My friend, you seem troubled, or maybe
just the opposite, actually. Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said, or maybe less than troubled.
Just the opposite, actually. You don't know how long it's been since the biggest thing I had to worry about was Undead and Phandalin and Sildar being a fuck up. I can't really explain it. You wouldn't get it, but...
Well, I'm a bard. My specialty is stories. What's yours?
Street rat turned dwarf friend turned fake hero turned dragon chaser turned fake hero.
Hero story.
That's the best.
all we
That's
get
the best short version I can give you. What about you, Arana? Why you going to Phandalin? How'd you hang out with the Dark Elf, Half-Blood, all that stuff?
Well, first it's Arena. But that's fine.
Look, you're the first person I've met in 3 months that doesn't have an Aramovich after their name. Just, I'm sorry. Arena.
No, really. You seem very tired. I don't blame you. I'm really just looking for purpose, you know. My life has been stagnant lately. And I wish to help people. And the best way to help people is to go to where people need help.
Well, we haven't been home in quite a long time, but when we got to Phandalin, that was a place that needed help. And I'm sure there's a lot of that going on now, so we'll introduce you around. You seem all right by me. That's why we ended up there.
Well, thank you. I might join you in your frozen cloaks if you'd allow me.
Oh yeah, you're more than welcome. I mean, we're all traveling together. Don't trust the mayor. Something about him, he's sleazier than the last mayor. Trust me. But you'll find most people in Phandalin are really good people. And we're always up at Tressendar Manor. Knock up any time. We got into this. Go ahead. Go ahead.
One of the things that I mentioned in the description that you may not have caught is that she was wearing extremely fancy clothes. Like jewelry.
Yeah, she looks like a noble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first thing I said was, well, this character is somebody Balin's gonna love.
So you may
So did Elshara, so...
Yeah. Level 4 Balin? Maybe. These are the first people he didn't suspect of being vampires in 3 months. He's going to take what he can get. Yeah. Okay. Everyone's getting a pass right now.
Okay.
But yeah, no, he's just kind of like, and also she's watching him weep. Like, how dicky can he be at the time? Yeah, he's just like, look, we hole up at Tressendar Manor. And yeah, we got into this business. Well, we got into it for money, but we ended up helping people. And I guess now we help people. But you can always knock up there. If we hear anything, we can hook you up. And if not, good food, warm beds, greedy goblins. Oof. He kind of buries his head and says, oh, shit! And he kind of like rests one head on this new stranger's shoulder that he just met, and he's like, I owe Blisk 10% of my take! Fuck me! I thought we were gonna die!
I gently pat him on the shoulder.
Oh, he's gonna have my ass!
Before
That's
there
pretty
was
much
Jordan
Balin.
giving him shit, there was the goblin, and his name was Blisk.
So he just seems content to like lean on your shoulder and like
stuff
lament
like that in the after implementness. There will be time to cover stuff like that. There's a few things I want to that I want to get through before we get to the end of session. We'll have fluff time later.
No worries.
You guys will have downtime after this for the first time in forever.
Yeah, I can fade to black here if you want. That was. I feel like we. Unless Curly has one more to add. Yeah.
I was going to let this conversation to finish, but there was something I was going to cover too.
Keep going, Curly, because I think Curly had one more thing, right? Yeah.
I can find my train of thought. I lost it.
Oh.
You seem traumatized.
Yeah.
Well, when you're up to it, I'd like you to tell me your story. A bard's only love our stories, as you know.
I'll tell you that the day I can tell this story is the day I've actually survived it.
Interesting words. It's a pleasure meeting you, Balin.
Nice meeting you. Irina?
She kind of shakes her head and smiles. You'll
He
get used to it.
snorts.
And she walks back to the campfire.
Okay. Balin will actually just enjoy the rest of the sunset. And
Make
be
a
quiet
perception check, Balin.
now. All right. We've had some long rests, right? Should I add
You've
anything
had
to this?
one long rest.
Okay, you just tell me what.
Sorry, no, you've had 2 long rests because you've been on the road 2 days. All right.
So 9 minus 2?
Yeah. So as you see her starting to walk away, for the briefest second, you catch a glimmer of what looks like silver coming off of her, and you see it kind of weaves its way through the air. And out of the corner of your eye, you see that same string of silver is kind of weaving up from your own hand. Something that you didn't see before, but something you're kind of catching now. And as you see them kind of weave their way up into the air, they kind of fade away. And in that brief moment, you see a raven just kind of sitting there watching you. It caws, ruffles its feathers, and takes off.
Balin looks at the poof and he's like, already? He sighs, nods, enjoys the rest of the sunset, and processes that information.
Just because you're home doesn't mean your job is done. Back at the campfire, Elshara will be speaking to the rest of you. She will tell you more in detail that... so my father received correspondence from Sildar as... Not just Sildar as well. It was something that Nundra Rockseeker, you may be familiar with him. He was looking for magical aid in identification and value and so on and so forth of magical items, that impossible arcane that may go into creation of arcane items, and they wanted a consultant, but my father is far too busy back in Waterdeep, so he believed that sending me would be the best thing that could happen. And truthfully, a chance to get out of the city was not the worst thing on my mind, so here I am on my way to Phandalin. I decided to stop in Neverwinter for a brief bit, as it's been so long since I've been, but then I also met Arana on the road, and well, here we are now.
Are you seriously not ever gonna get her name right?
No, we're never going to get her name
It'd be a
right,
thing.
sorry.
Aw.
Arena,
I
right?
read it,
Wait,
and I
for
think Arana,
real,
'cause
say
there's
it,
no I in
say it one more
Arena.
time. Yeah,
I think it's
Arena.
Arena. Yeah,
Arena, yes.
But there's no I in it. Never. When I look at it, I hear. I'll say it's more like Arana
There's like
to
a,
me. But
like NEA over the A.
I was gonna say. I was gonna say. I intentionally didn't put the I there. I put a tilde over the A,
Yeah.
just so that you can have your spelling and I can have my pronunciation.
There it is.
whatever. Yeah,
Arena.
Arena. Okay, that's gonna take some getting used to. It's not as easy as just Toshra. Toshra is very simple and direct. It's Dragonborn name.
You throw in
Elven.
Actually,
every now and then.
That whole time it was Tashra, but you kept fucking it up.
Go fuck yourself. All right.
Yeah,
So,
blink shot.
That night will come to a pleasant end. The kids fall asleep quickly as they're not used to marching all day. As you all imagine, take watch. You will see that Elshara kind of keeps an eye out. Eventually, she doesn't seem to go to sleep. Like, she just kind of seems to kneel herself down and kind of sit with her legs crossed and close her eyes and just kind of dozes off that way. If I'm not mistaken, Arena, you do the same thing, don't you?
Trance.
Well, I trance. I sit up
Yeah.
in a trance.
So they both kind of do that kind of later on into the rest. The kids are passed out and you all can keep watch, but nothing will happen to you here. The next morning...
Never mind. You're fine.
Is there
Gargle
something...
does wave his hand in front of Arena's face.
There will be time for this later. I'm
Okay.
trying to get to the ending point of this
never
session.
mind, forget
You guys
it.
keep...
Okay.
Yeah. The next morning, you all wake up and you make the last bit of a trek off towards the city of Phandalin. The city itself is essentially the same as you remember it, with two things out of the ordinary that are currently in place. The first is that there is what appears to be a smaller building that has open-aired sections of arches with large iron latticework doors that kind of swing open. And above the and this is in the spot here, just beyond the well. I don't have a place there, but that's where it is.
Global illumination.
There's no global illumination? Fucking hell. Yes, there is.
Oh, well.
Oh, dynamic lighting shouldn't be on at all. What am I doing? There we go. As you look at it, you see, Blinkshaw, this stands out to you immediately because there is a closed gauntlet that sits above the door frame.
I was hoping it was that.
Yeah, it seems that in your time, Darren Eatermath, the friend of yours in your close circles, he made sure that your temple was finished, even though you weren't here to oversee it.
Yes.
The second thing you notice is over at the Townmaster's Hall, where the bulletin board is, there is a poster, a wanted poster, with Tostra's image on it, and her name saying "Wanted, Dead, or Alive." And that is where we're going to end session this week.
Yes.
Well,
Yes. Awesome.
Oh, so like for her last hurrah to the group was, hey,
It's
get
just
some
like
money, guys.
Tasha. It's just like Tasha, not just Tasha.
Yeah, she's a goddamn pirate. What'd you expect?
I was contemplating putting as Tastra of the Calliope, but I just put Tastra because that was what she was known as. Apparently, that's what the reputation for her has been searching for. And if you look down into the later details, the reason she is wanted is murder and known counts of piracy.
Yes! And we're back to session 1 of Strahd.
What?
Excellent.
Okay, now I don't even know.
Do you not remember? That's what Madame Ava said. Still, she called you the pirate, and she knew this way ahead of time. Awesome!
God.
How does it feel to be back in the land of sun and pretty colors?
We still don't have
It,
sun. But yeah.
I'm still pretty
It's bright out.
There's dynamic lighting on this map. You guys should be able to see it fine.
I don't
I just see black.
I just see black.
I mean, I have the map personally, but I don't
It's
have
Hey.
Oh, there's a map.
there.
Now I can see
I'll
it.
re-drag you over. Yeah.
dark
This is
vision from high
this
school.
is Chandlin, yes.
Oh, that's Newfoundland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah,
this is the like I said, the temple is over here, but obviously I don't have a way to edit the map in the way that I'd like. I'd have to draw it myself, and I'm shit at that. So, but it's located in the buried space next beyond the well, just on the other side of the courtyard, and it looks good, Blinkshaw. It looks like a lot of love and effort went into it.
I saw Neverwinter, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I was
Neverwinter was another
There we
map.
go.
Yeah, there you go. Ooh,
Got
this is
it.
pretty.
Don't worry.
Yeah. The Temple of Helm is in place, and it is.
Where's the manor?
We'll get to that next week. Yeah, you guys will get to next week. So if you guys would like to message me, and I'm gonna put an in character ICRP whatever channel here. If you guys would like to go through and just type out what you'd like to do, you guys didn't have a lot of downtime, but you can type out what you would have liked to have done in Barovia, who you would have liked to have spoken to, and so on and so forth. You would have also had a day in Neverwinter filled in this if you would like to have done some shopping. Obviously, the kids were at the tavern, and the tavern keeper would have agreed to handle it, so you could do that. If you'd like to buy ink, you can find it in Neverwinter.
Yeah.
If you would
I
like to
like-
buy another horse, you could find it in Neverwinter.
Oh, by the way, Arena has a horse. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Nobody gets a horse. We already had horses. And
Arena already had a horse.
it hurts too much to lose them.
It
I don't even remember what I named him.